Please note the views and opinions expressed by the hosts on this show are not necessarily the views held by the station.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
There we go. What a pain in the fucking ass. Good afternoon, good evening, guys. How's it going? Just like I'm ready to unmute and it's like everything freezes up. Come on. Jesus H. Unbelievable. Well, you know what kind of radio show you're tuned into. We cut right through to the quick here. Unbelievable. Okay, I've had my fill today with the universe of directors trying to interfere with my movie, and we're gonna play a different game, right? We're gonna start directing our own movies for a change, and I'm gonna show you how. Now, bear with me. Yes, I did say about tonight being tarot. I just want to see where we go first because this is way more important than you can imagine. Patty, I need you to mute, hon, because every sound is going to distract me, sweetheart. So scroll up over the page, or click on the group chat. I had to bring Patty in with me because she's having issues with the phone and stuff, and I wanted to get her on tonight. Just click on Love and Stuff, and you'll see the separate little bar come up, and you'll see a microphone. Click on it until there's a red bar through it. Let me know when you've got that.
Okay.
All right. That's the other reason why I don't like bringing people in with me, because I can't control the mutes on their end. There's no issue with the individual. It's just with the inability for me to mute and sounds going off. The grip I have on what we like to call downloads is precarious at best. It's a very tenuous connection, and it takes very little to disrupt it. So, oh, did you hit the wrong one, Patty? I think she did. I think we lost her. Anyway, there we go. I do my best. All right, here we go. Let me see, where are we? All right, now I just got to get back on my train here again. Okay. Boy, did we get into some interesting territory last night, and it's been Epiphany Central since pretty much Thursday, to a download level that I haven't experienced in a while, and it's really exciting. Just when you think you know, where do I go from here? Then you shut up and the universe shows you. I went through the allegory. I'm not sure if I did it on air or in the recording part with regards to the story of the eagle and the eaglet. I was on the air earlier today with Trace and Dave from Wolf Spirit Radio. One of the things that I did discover that you've heard me talking about contrast, and until you see black, you don't know what white is, right? And that's the only thing I'm seeking now is the contrast. What am I needing to see in its own reflection of itself, the contrast between the black and the white, to find that 0 point, right? And one of the things that I discovered today, and again, this is a no harm, no foul on anybody, all right? This is actually a compliment. And it really gave me a contrast as to where we've been at in this game and how we're playing it. Here, one sec, Patty just tagged me. I got to get this stuff out of my... okay, just rejoin via the Skype button. All right, just give me a second, guys. Let me sort this stuff out so I can get on Download Central here. Here, let me just pass this along, and let's get this... Because I do want to hear from Patty tonight, so just refresh the page and hit the Skype button. Log in via Facebook if you need to on Blog Talk. There we go. Okay. I think I'm going to spend one evening... couple of hours just going through okay. Well, charge your battery first. Charge the battery first. Battery first. All right. Yeah. So let me get back to the train tracks I was on. Okay. The story that I shared last night with regards to the eagle and the mother eagle and the eaglet is the perfect allegory for your life. and for how creation works. Because I said this last summer, over a year ago, that every story here is the same one, just told differently, but it's all the same story. And it's quite something. When you see the variance of the story in all its myriad of reflections or perspectives, or as I'm calling them now, camera angles, your camera angle, it looks entirely different. I was having a chat with Eric earlier, and going through this with him to show him what I was talking about with the camera angles. And I had a book on the table, the Mayan Oracle book, and I placed the book, between us. And I said, "You can see the book, yes?" And he goes, "Yeah, I can see the book too." Are we both seeing the same thing, or are we looking at the same thing from different perspectives? And I said, "Well, yeah, we're looking at it from, the same thing from, I see it from my position, you see it from yours." Exactly, but has the book changed? Well, no, right, because it's still the same book. It's just how are you looking at it. So what I did then was I turned the book around so that he could read it from where he was standing, yet it was upside down from where I was standing. And I said to him, "You see the book clearer than I do right now, yes? Because I have to actually read upside down, whereas you can see it the normal way that we normally read. So you have a slightly better perspective on the same book." And that's all I'm trying to share with everyone is this book. And the only thing I am sharing and can share is my perspective from this book. So there's your movie. Now, when we take that book and expand it out to the entire universe size, let's stick to Earth just because it's the one we know the best. You'll start to get an understanding of Earth being the book, and where are you standing on it to have a look at that book. Can you read it the same way as I can? Or is your viewpoint slightly different? We're all reading the same book, but we have different perspectives on how we're looking at it. And what happened with this particular story that we're in, someone else took control of the script, where we were made to be less than the directors and producers we are. Pro duce ra in the mirror, right? Duce, the Duke, the hands, creation, 5 fingers, the pentagram, pentacle of creation, right? Cut an apple open, you'll see it. It's right there, the 5 points, right? The Venus transit, whatever, it's countless. So all I'm trying to do right now is share these different how do you put it? Different perspectives on the same story. And I'm kind of looking at the same story from a multitude of perspectives. And that's the only reason I see what I do, is because I'm not fixated on one particular angle. I'm trying to be a good director, and as I was saying to Eric, if you can visualize a chariot race scene with only one camera, how exciting would the movie be? Well, you'd have to pick a spot where you could see, most of the race. But you're going to miss most of the race as it goes around the track because you've only got one camera. So what I'm doing and what I'm counting on is to have a look at that racetrack from different camera angles, and those other camera angles are you. That's how we are the same, right? So, and I do like to put things into analogy so they're very easy to understand, and this is why truth is always written in allegory, analogy, metaphor. Because I can paint a picture that all can see, no language required, no tongue pledge, you see. I use this particular language to describe this picture, but inevitably what you will get is the visual, and that's all I'm interested in. That is the true creation, the visual. So, in the now moment, no less. So here we go. As a director, what I'm doing now is having a look at the chariot race with cameras placed all around the track. And those cameras are you. That's why I like to converse with the other cameramen on the set. All the world is a stage. Although that sounds very allegorical, we can look at it first literal in a physical sense, and you can take it to be, we're just kind of, performing with each other in a physical low-level game, which is true, very, very literal. And allegorical, when you start looking at it allegorical, you start looking at it from a spiritual perspective. So that spiritual perspective looks at it, okay, all the world's a stage, which means that we are playing a grander game. We can see the physical, and we know that we are becoming cause over it by how we manipulate our player, our piece, our meat stick body, right, the physical. The ego, for the most part, is the one in control of the literal first version of all the world's a stage, and then the spirit is the allegorical. It's the cause over the physical once we regain that. So now that we've went literal and allegorical, what we need to do is go back to the literal and look at both at the same time. That's the Trinity. That's the third layer of looking at it, which is where I'm at. And what it's showing me right now is everything that is allegorical is now being reverted to literal again. You got to pass the veil to get the control back, to go back into the game. I'm writing an essay right now. I'm about 5-6 paragraphs in, so I'm going to be a little bit with this one. It's going to be a long one because there's going to be a lot of information in it to bring as much as I possibly can to light of what it is I'm trying to explain to you right now. This is like I can't even call it fresh aha moment, but it's a culminating moment for me and how I'm looking at things. Now, the essay is going to be very, very straightforward. I will be outlining it in complete allegory form. But what I want to share with you, if I did it on the air last night, fine. If I was in the recording, I don't know. It doesn't matter. But I'm going to expand on it a whole lot more today. The story of the eagle and the egolets. Because I'm going to show you your entire life in this allegory. Now, you can choose to see it or not. It's entirely up to you. And by the way, welcome to Outside the Box. I'm your hostess, Kate of Gaia. And for those that are first-time listeners, voice is lower than boobs would indicate. Don't worry, you'll get over me. I did. Oh, imagine that. Okay, so here's the allegory of life. If you can see it. I'll give you a few hints at the end, but this is a beautiful representation. Now, Mother Eagle lays an egg, okay? So in other words, creation puts forth intention and energy to bring forth a creation of life existence. You grow inside this womb, cocoon, whatever the case may be, until you finally are too big for it and you break free. You come out of that shell, and there you are, this beautiful little egolet in the nest, brand new, with no comprehension of anything whatsoever. You just know you're there. That's it. You are at that moment the I am. That is the moment of entry. That is the center point or 0 point of the yellow brick road and the red brick road in The Wizard of Oz, where Dorothy, the Door of God, and Toto, Jean-Marie, full character, start their quest. Red is emotion, by the way. Gold is you. That's why they call it the golden mean of creation, because it expands, it spirals out, and the egocentric red emotion spirals in. And how much we expand our universe is strictly and solely determined by how much we can expand out, while at the same time the trap of the game of the ego says, no, we're going to spiral you back in. So what you're doing is going through this cycle of flowing out and getting so far, getting emotional, and getting zinged right back to that zero again, that 0 point start, right back to start. Snakes and ladders, boys and girls. All right, so you're the eaglet in the nest. Now you've had a few days and you're starting to kind of go, oh, this is neat. You're getting the sensations of sunlight, and you see mom, and everything's like ooh and ah, and you're a complete effect to the physical reality. That's the game. You come here completely blanked. Well, not completely. Just you come here with information inaccessible to you for a reason. If you had all the information, you wouldn't be able to have a game. You'd already be bored. All right, so this is why we got to stop taking the game so seriously and start looking at how the rules of the game work. Because once we have the rules, then we can change the course of the game, and we're already doing that right now. Many of you that have tuned in for a while are already fully aware of what I just said. You're seeing it for yourself. You're seeing this movie shift. That's because we're co-producing it now. This is the power we have over this illusion. Okay? That's why so very few become the eagle or the director. So I'm going to try to show you how to step into that role a bit more instead of being an extra, getting your ass kicked left, right, and center, caught up in the physical bullshit. All right? This is a big step for everybody. This is the eaglet finally, being forced to fly. So a few weeks go by and the eaglet's getting bigger and stronger, of course. It's really loving it because it's in this nice, cozy, down-lined nest. It's protected from the wind, and if it rains, mom's there with the wings over you, and just system, government, okay? Keeping you all safe and protected, so you think, right? Wait till you see what's coming. So eventually, mom, eagle, system, right? Nanny state, right? Looks down at you and says, no, you're ready to fly. And you haven't flown before. You haven't got a clue what's going on, right? You're just kind of enjoying it. You're effectively the typical consumerian in the Western, or it doesn't matter, anywhere that's taken on the Western ideals of getting lazy and fat and stupid. Then you'll know what I'm talking about. And I'm blunt for a reason, okay? Because all of these things, once we take control of our lives, are completely fixable. Spiritually, don't get caught up in the physical games, okay? And by spiritually, I mean through your own ether. Your urethra, your urine, that's your gold, okay? All your answers are there, but so few will actually lots of us now are doing it, but so few will. But anyway, getting back to the eagle and eaglet story. So mom looks down and says, okay, well, you're big enough. You look like, your wings got all the feathers you need. You got all the layers, checking out, doing a full walk around of this little aircraft and going, yep, you're ready to fly. The plane's ready, but the pilot might not be, right? You say, here's the catch. And this is why when someone said to me that they're getting ready to do this, and right, no, you can't get ready to do this. No. That's the illusion. You thought you could get ready for what's coming, but I assure you, when you're ready and the spirit is willing, you won't be ready for it, but you'll be able to handle it, right? It's the rush. It's the ride, right? You're going down the roller coaster for the first time. It's pretty cool. So mom looks down at the eaglet and says, well, okay, you look like you're ready to go. I know you're not really aware of it, but however, it doesn't matter. Nature says you must fly. So mom just picks baby up and out of the nest with you. Of course, you were sitting back watching American Idol, having your Diet Coke and Frito-Lay and Lazy Boyville, and you're having a great old time, and this is like culture shock. You're falling and falling because, of course, eagles build their nests very high in the air for a reason. It's for this reason. So you're like in a panic, and your arms are flailing, and you're grasping with your talons to find something to hold on to, and you're like, oh my God, you don't know what to do, you don't know what to do because you're trying to think your way out of this bullshit. Just before you hit the ground, Mother Eagle comes in and catches you on her back, and of course, as soon as you get that sensation of being caught in the arms of creation, universe, who will never let you fall, you will get exactly what you came here to learn. So stop blaming everything. You asked for it. You're going to get what you asked for. That's careful what you wish for. So baby eagle lands on mama's back, and like soft landing with the feathers, and of course the talons just right into mom, and to hold on for dear life. So mom climbs and flies around a little bit, climbs a whole lot higher than the nest. No, this isn't a matter of taking the eaglet and putting it back in the nest. No. That was the easy test. That was the easy one. That was your entry point that brought you to the truth, okay? What happens now is Mom climbs even higher and higher. And say the nest originally was 100 feet off the ground. Now she's sitting around 200-300 feet. And she's soaring around. And, of course, as the baby eagle, the eaglet, gets used to its surroundings and has a look and goes, wow, the view's pretty cool from here. And then, of course, the ego, as always, gets comfortable. It's, oh, this is great. But so the talons start letting off the iron grip a little bit, right? Now, creation, Mother Eagle, universe senses this. Ah. So we're either going to check if it's knowledge or ignorance, arrogance, right? So as soon as the grip is let loose enough, Mom goes up, creation turns over and flips upside down, thus your world turned upside down, and of course, you weren't ready for it. Your talons weren't digging in. You were just getting comfy, enjoying the view, letting someone else do all the flying for you, you fucking coattailer. Huh. Right? You follow me here? You got to learn to fly by yourself, right? I've caught enough baby eaglets, including myself. I'm done playing that one. I'm just going to show you how this game really works. So, of course, there's baby eaglet. Oh, my God, falling, flailing the wings and everything else. Not quite sure what's going on, blah, 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 blah. Still trying to think their way out of it. What do I do? And just once again, before the eaglet hits the ground, creation wanted to take care of her own, does the same routine, flies underneath, eaglet lands on top, and of course the talons dig in twice as hard now. It's like, holy shit, that was like 300-foot fall. You know? Not to be outdone, creation, Mother Eagle, system, whatever, climbs higher and higher and higher and higher and higher until she's about 500 or 600 feet above the ground. So the view is much better, a much grander perspective of things, because you're starting to learn, you're starting to see things, and you're earning each one of these different viewpoints because you fell. But you never hit. But you fell, and you felt it. It felt very scary. So Mommy Eagle does the same thing again. Of course, if the vigilance and the awareness is dropped, the ego takes over again. So the eaglet relaxes the grip a little bit, enjoying this even more magnificent view at the behest of someone else that's carrying them. As soon as the grip's released again, Mother Eagle says, good, flip. Because, you know, it couldn't happen 3 times. No, your ego says, no, Mom wouldn't do this to me 3 times. Because I know Mom loves me, right? This is your typical voter, by the way. They've done it dozens of times. What part of getting screwed over and hitting the dirt aren't you getting? That's a system that won't catch you. It'll certainly kick you out of its nest, though. All right, so this goes on, and every time the eaglet gets released from Mom, Mom's not taking it back to the nest until it figures it out, right? And if it does, well, then the eaglet will follow Mom home. What happens then is eventually instincts take over. The intuitive kicks in. You start thinking, well, I keep doing the same thing over and over again. The same shit keeps happening. I've got to start doing something different. This flailing of my arms and squawking and all the rest of it just isn't working. My talons aren't grabbing anything. Mom's driving. Oh, my God. And then you say, you throw your arms wide and say, I give up. And all of a sudden the wind catches your wings because you threw them out. You weren't flailing anymore. You relaxed. You surrendered. And what happened when you surrendered, when you finally let go of all the tethers and attachments that were holding you, was your wings weren't so weighted anymore. You weren't trying to fight your way through this. You just decided to go with the flow. And all of a sudden, the design that you came with goes into full action. You think you came here without a design? Are you kidding me? You see, so the wings are spread wide. All of a sudden, the design takes over. And the eaglet goes, well, holy shit. I can fly. It still takes a bit of getting used to, a little practice still has to ensue, but the basic understanding is grasped finally. That there is no one coming to save you. You have to save yourself. the system or mother or creation or whatever you want to term it to be will allow you only to fall far enough for you to figure it out. That's why we need to stop with the red brick road going inward and start dealing with the yellow brick road going outward. And the only thing that's going to spin you back like a yo-yo is reverting to the red brick road. You get out so far on the yellow brick road, and then all of a sudden ego takes over, and then you just start to spiral back into the egocentric. That's why it's called egocentric. Which center are you picking? Well, the ego is the start point. And as I was explaining, and I have explained to people, the best place to start your path of self-awareness is the very design you came in with. I mean, you showed up here on a certain day in a certain place. So start Googling around. Find something that resonates with you, something that's going to strike a chord with you. I did. I put in June 15th. Search. Lo and behold, I saw this page, events, world events happened June 15th. And I started scrolling down it, and I saw the 1215. June 15th, 1215. That was the day the Magna Carta was signed. And of course, those that know my path will understand just how resonant that was for me. Now, there'll be others. I know a few people actually born on the same day as me. That won't mean a hill of beans of shit to them. That won't be anything to do with what their game is. There'll be something else that resonates with them to find their purpose. I'm just grateful I was able to find mine, that's all. And I think there might be one or two others that might be grateful for it too. But we do this together, you see. I'm just a mere reflection of you. And in finding this, I just tried to share this with you so that you may direct your own cameras, direct your own lives. So the lesson here is, universe will keep kicking you out of the nest until you learn to fly. And you can squawk all you want. You can, flail your wings around, and you're going to fly in circles, and you're going to get universal bitch slapped every step of the way. If you're caught in the physical illusion, thinking you're going to change it in a physical manner, you're insane. It's not how the universe works. Nature shows you. It's all there. I mean, we built it. It's perfect. So there's no, hate of the physical universe. There's certainly not. I mean, creation has it here for a reason. This is our playground. It's unfortunate right now that we have, it's changing, but we had others shitting in that nest for a very long time and expecting us to clean it up for them. So we got some lazy eagles that learned how to fly a little quicker than others and took it upon themselves to keep the other eaglets from ever learning how to fly. While they're sleeping, pull feathers. Allegorical, guys, analogy here, okay? The pulling of the feathers and the breaking of the wings are the tools used by the system. They call them things like churches, synagogues, schools, politics, all manner of distraction. And the biggest one that has you convinced that you are still the eaglet is the very name that you think is yours, which it isn't. So you have to see past this allegory first. Right? The answers are very simple if you can see them. The long and short of it essay and I who shall not be named document. They're both available. Grab them, they're free. I write because I can, and I'm part of you, so here, this is part of you getting reflected back. They're on kateofgaia.wordpress.com. But I will assure you, if you cannot handle the truth, and I'm going to keep saying this every night, if you can't handle the truth, I need you to move along. I don't want to be responsible for someone that's getting truth and is unable to stand in it any longer. Because as this game ramps up, you're starting to feel it now. As this game ramps up, the repercussions of not standing in the truth are getting greater and greater and greater. If you are basing any of your opinions upon anything that you have learned in the physical universe that you thought were answers, you're still going circular. You're still trying to solve old problems with the same old solutions that never worked. That's called insanity. So I decided to go a little more outside the box and say, okay, well, what do we need to do a little different than we have been doing all along? And I chose to listen to some pretty cool teachers, Buddha and Krishna and Christ, Jesus, Muhammad. They're all great teachers. All great teachers. And they all told, oh, lo and behold, the same story. That's the only difference in actually understanding the message they were trying to convey. And the egocentric will be the one that absolutely wants to beat the living shit out of you for trying to convince them that their Bible, the way they've been taught it, is wrong, and you're trying to teach them how to really read it the way Jesus said. Which is really neat. You've got these people. Again, you know me, guys. I pick on Christianity because that's the one I was raised in. Right? It's the one I'm most familiar with. Right? So I've got an opinion on this. I've got an experience. I don't have an opinion. I have an experience with it. Right? So it's always a lot of fun looking a born-again Christian in the eye and saying, you call yourself a Christian, Jesus your Savior? Yeah. Well, how come you don't listen to him? Huh? You don't listen to him. Show me anywhere in the Old, well, New Testament, of course, but anywhere in the Bible where Jesus said, I want you to worship me, worship me, worship me. Right? It never said that. That was the last thing he wanted. He says, and you can do greater things than I, said he. I just believed the guy. Right? It's all these doubts that get placed in our minds and our souls. They get embedded so deeply that these eaglets that we've all been for so very long, although very capable of flight, because we've got all our feathers, we've got our wings, everything's fine. We've just gotten very comfortable in a nest controlled by a not-so-nice eagle. You see, because the eagles that are leaving this nest have got tethers on them. Oh, they can fly. They get the sensation of being free. Let's go back to let's use birds. Let's keep using birds as an example here for anyone familiar with falconry. One of the things they do to condition the bird is they put a tether, tether on its talon, and they let it fly. And, of course, this bird thinks it's going to escape, and it gets out so far, then, of course, the tether grabs them and they can't go any further. And they continue this process until the point gets where the bird, knowing the length of the tether and how painful it is when it flies too far, never goes past that point where it gets tense again. And this conditioning keeps going for a while until eventually the guy training the falcon undoes the tether and sets the falcon free. But the falcon will never go any further than its tether. It's now trained. It's now a good little slave bird. Because it doubts it can, because it's been held back so many times. And that's exactly what has happened to us. Some of us broke our tethers before the full program kicked in. I'm one of them. Nothing's going to bind me. I'm too free a spirit for that. And having lived, as I've said before on shows, having lived in a virtual reality prison for a lifetime, nature of being I am, I got an idea what freedom is. From a perspective that unless you've walked this walk, you will not understand. And this is why I'm trying to share the intensity of it. Why I'm telling you that you are all slaves. There is no one more disillusioned and more a slave than one who claims that they are free. Really? Are you free within the confines of a system? That's the same thing that happens at a zoo. The elephants have a nice big area they can walk around in. Oh, they get the sense of freedom of walking around and having a good range to walk in. But are they truly free? No. They are bound by limitations, fences, whatever the case may be. Even on the reserves that they put up for these animals, are they really free to roam as they always have? Or are they conditioned to roam within this area that is supposedly free for them? Visualize your own homes with all your fences around it. How free are you? How connected are you to your neighbor? Oh, it's my yard. No one comes into my yard. Right. So you built yourself your own little prison. Nifty. Right? You build your own allegories to see what your life's all about. You're boxed in, baby. Right? Now, depending on the level of truth you stand in, is going to determine the impact of the universal shift that you will experience. And in retrospect, looking back to February 11th of 2012, where my stand was made up to that point, literally pushing back the entire system, alone. There was no one could help me at that point. No one was on the same page as me. There was a couple close, but no one was they weren't living my experience. They didn't understand the pressure I was under, racing to try to figure this game out as quickly as I possibly could before all hell broke loose, and it did. February 11th, my whole universe was destroyed. My family was ripped apart. My relationship. My home was stolen. My car, my truck, countless possessions. Oh yeah, the universe, Mama Bird kicked me out of the nest hardcore. And I know why. Because the measure of how hard I got kicked out of the nest is a measure of how high I'm going to fly. In contrast. So when we look at our pitfalls and we look at our trials and tribulations and, enter into the victim zone, been there, done that. I've had my tears. But I also moved beyond it. And you will too. The measure of truth that I stood in was shown to me in one evening. And I still paid more of the price a couple of weeks later, where I got to spend one lunar cycle in solitary to figure out even more. And what I did figure out was the whole system was illusion. Kind of knew that, just went back to prove it. Right? Of course, they don't stand their own laws because they make them up as they go, and they're powerless. The only power that they have is the power we give them. So let's talk about movies, shall we? You know me, I love my movies. I love the fact that people put these things together, other perspectives of me, so I can actually see how the game works, how the game is played. So all the world is indeed a stage, and this is what this essay is going to be about. So I'll do a bit of a synopsis of it, and I'll be in a lot more detail when I get writing it, because I like to, be able to convey ideas. Plus, when I'm writing, it's just me. I'm just in the zone, no interference, nothing, no pressure of being on air or anything like that. I just kind of go and puke it out, right? All the world's a stage. You are all individual, completely separate, yet completely joined to the fabric of all as a camera angle. And only a camera angle. You're shooting your movie from your perspective, director. Unfortunately, most people are walking around as an extra, not realizing that they're even in a movie. The camera's still rolling, by the way. Guess who's got control of the camera? The eaglet that has no idea how to fly. And the eaglet, as I've said before, will be flailing and squawking and putting up all sorts of fight and not understanding, oh, what's going on? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? Oh, right? And then when something does come close enough, it grabs on for dear life and sinks its talons in. And some eaglets never learn to let go. They will cling so tight to the bird, the mother bird, the system, the nanny state, that they'll never learn how to fly. Well, not this round anyway, and that's okay. That's their choice, and I'm cool with that. They don't have to wake up. I don't give a shit. That's how much I care. I do care that much that I'm going to let them experience that which they chose. Who am I to say otherwise? Oh, that would be the ego. The ego would loop you all in with my particular game of, victim and all the rest of it. Me, I won't let that happen, right? Different perspective. So let's have a look at our individual lives here. Look back through your life and start having a look at who are the heroes and the heroines, and who are the villains and villainesses. Who are the extras? Who are the stagehands? Who are the ones that came in a starring role, to be the best supporting dickhead, or the most annoying twat, or the happiest, funny, happy-go-lucky comic relief? Who's the one that comes in and disrupts your apple cart all the time in your scenes that you're portraying for yourself in this game to understand you? Have a look through your life. I can see all the villains and the villainesses and the heroes and the heroines, and in most cases they are, at first glance you can see both. They are, of course, both. They are. A hero is a villain and a villain is a hero. It depends on the perspective and what you're looking for, right? If you get it the first time, then someone is a hero. If someone has to beat the shit out of you, they're a villain, but they're still the hero because they beat the shit out of you enough for you to figure it out. Either way, you have to be grateful. You got the lesson. It's only up to you to decide which way you want to get it. Do you want to get it from the hero or heroine, or do you want to get it from the villain? I'll tell you, the most endearing ones you're going to get are from the villains, for sure. They're the ones you're going to remember the most. Oh yeah, they're the ones you'll take straight to heart. And it's a good thing, because that way your intuition gets a good lesson, right? You start learning how to feel your way through this game. So who are your villains? Who are your heroes? Now, let's just think of someone in your existence. One sec. Think of someone in your existence that is really, really, really annoying and pissing you off. Right? Ego, of course, right? We all have one. Don't tell me you don't. If you do, I think I'm going to call you a liar. And I'm going to go say, go listen to Alex Jones. You want lies? Go listen to him. I don't have time for it. The thing about the ego is it is so convincing. It is a star in its own right. And you need it. You cannot not have one. So when I say get rid of the ego, what I'm talking about is get rid of the control it has over you. Because it's not you. The ego only exists in the physical game, that I've been able to find anyway. It's not useful anywhere else as far as I can see, right? But it's a very useful tool once you get it, on a short leash. To get it on a short leash means that you're not defending your position anymore. You don't need to. To get it on a short leash means you're not being, justifying or making excuses. You're starting to take full responsibility. You're full, son of God, Re, the light of God, Re, ancient for Ra. Spawn, to give life, ability. Abel, I love. Right? Cain, Abel. Abel is the right hemisphere. And by the way, Abel's a girl, not a boy. Something they kind of messed up in Sunday school teachings. Yeah, you see how it can get messed up? But the clues were there, You just have to see it for the way you see it. Just like Castor and Pollux, right? Castor being the Castor, which is Ka, spirit, stir, divine feminine. The spirit of divine feminine, Castor, and Pollux. I always want to say bollocks because that kind of works better, right? Is the masculine intent of the Geminian constellation, right? So, yeah, just more clues. You can see the clues, and of course the clues are past. They're there. They have to be created for you to see them. They have to be in place. But you've got to be a neutral observer to see them. You cannot be at effect to them. You have to. The only way you're going to get an answer is to go inside yourself. So, Hair Director, what we're going to do is start showing you how to direct your movie a little better. And when you start seeing this, especially from the present time moment, you're going to laugh. And then you're going to laugh some more. I know I did. I was giggling like a 12-year-old schoolgirl. This is some crazy shit, guys. But it shows Oz and Wonderland and the Magic Kingdom for what it really is. It's Harry Potterville. We always knew it was. You always knew it was magical. This system has spent a lot of time. The one that wants to control this movie to their own delight, where they get to fill their own wishes and screw everybody and everything else, and try to be the god of other god parts, this particular level of the game is over. And you're seeing it unfold before your eyes. Things that are getting pulled out for people to look at. And again, don't look at it literally. We were talking about that train derailment or wreck or whatever last night. I believe it was in Quebec, but it was a part of a railway line that was cutting through Canada and the U.S., and which to me I saw as a divide and conquer allegory, and that whole concept of trying to divide north and south, because, well, North America, you got Canada, it's north, and U.S., it's more south, right? And that got derailed. So I saw the universal aspect of that. So when we start looking at things from the world view instead of the local view, you get a bigger and better understanding of how the universe really works and how you fit into it. And you get the added bonus of, once you discover the director aspect within yourself, you start directing your own game again. And what's happening here with everyone that's gathering at this table is we are co-producing this movie together now. We have a common vision. We've had enough of the nonsense. We've had enough of the system. This is why agreement is critical. We are co-producing this movie. I think that's pretty cool. You know, it's where we sit around and we, you know, see a world without money. We see a world without pain. We see a world without starvation. We see a world without war. We see a world without politicians and systems and courts and all the rest of the crap that goes along with it. Because the only thing that's kept this illusion alive is the fact that we've been degraded to the point where we do actually, because we're at full effect of the ego, where someone will actually get angry enough to kill someone. That's a little out of control ego, don't you think? When you get to that extent. Better yet, you want to see an even more out of control one. They actually put some people into uniforms, you know, cops or military, doesn't matter, and they give them guns and everything else. And these entities go out and their egos, and their bosses, more importantly egos, have them going out killing people. That's insanity. That's a very degraded being. That you're so asleep that even the notion of shooting another human being doesn't faze you. That you would shoot another being for a fictitious corporate government under a particular flag that I would just as soon wipe my ass with. Burn it? Why? It's useful. Wipe your ass with it. Cut it into strips. Put the cotton back where it belongs, into the ground. You know? But there's the idol worship that so many people are caught in, all the extras, right? Another allegory I touched on this morning, we were talking about Cairo, and of course the literal millions of people on their feet. Now, where someone will look at it and go, "Ooh, there's an uprising, it's riots, and there's Morsi and all the," and they get caught up in what they're looking at literally, and they miss the divine allegory that's being shown. And only when we see the allegories do things manifest accordingly. If you're staring at the literal, then the literal keeps going. The literal keeps going. Once you see the allegory, you stop that literal. And this is how important each and every one of us is. If but one shall awaken. You're it, I'm it, we're all it. We're the 100th monkey, right? And once something is looked at and seen in its true light of allegory, now it can return back to the literal with your cause attached to it. So when I saw this uprising of millions of people, again, it had to be Cairo, Because when you look at Earth, Africa is in the shape of a head with a slightly elongated skull, you see. And right where the Cairo is and the whole layout, that's why all the pyramids were placed in control positions along the Nile, the Kundalini of the fractal of Earth, of which we are attached to in a fractal sense. That's why these pyramids need to get ripped down, bulldozed. Get rid of them. To me, they're control mechanisms from exterior, right? If they never built the pyramids, would you miss them? Me either. So what's happened, though, Cairo and the positioning of things in that area, you're dealing with the pineal gland. You're dealing with the awakening, or as the other allegory goes in the Bible, with Moses striking the stone with his staff and water came forth, is the allegory of your pineal opening and the waters of truth pouring forth. And then, of course, we go back to the other cool teacher, Jesus, says, turn your water into wine, right? That's take your truth and turn it into knowledge, wisdom that you can use, right? So I saw this outpouring of all these people, and all I saw was this amazingly wide open pineal gland where consciousness is expanding. The Nile Delta floods every year. Delta, that's the delta waves of dream states. And of course, what is water, allegorically or mystically speaking? Water is truth. And it comes in many forms. It comes in, liquid, gas, solid, right? You get the Trinity there, right? It comes in snow, sleet, ice, rain, whatever. Doesn't matter. It's still the truth. And every year, the higher regions of our consciousness, as allegorically laid out with Africa, North Africa, our Nile Delta gets flooded with truth. So what you're seeing on a cosmological scale, on a universal scale, with the manifestation of all these people uprising, is the spiritual layover on top of what is really going on in the consciousness. Yeah, we're waking up, and it's being shown to you if you can see it. Look at the countless cities around the world where there are tens, if not hundreds of millions of people, I'd say hundreds of millions of people taken to the streets. Do you think Herr Director of this game is getting a little nervous? Well, I don't think it. I know it. And this is how we're directing this movie. Would you yell at a movie screen? We all have. Maybe crack a joke at something that happened in the movie, or reacted to a scene, like oh my goodness, right? Maybe react to the scene and talk to the screen. What is that? Well, that's reaction. That's being emotionally invested in the movie. Say it's a couple hours long. You are emotionally invested. All your attention is focused on this movie, so it's the only thing being created in front of you. And you're flowing all sorts of energy at it. That's why when I watch any movie, I'm watching it to be educated, not enter-trained. See, there's two ways you can look at everything. You can look at it from above or from below, from the side. Well, there's lots of ways of looking at anything. But specifically, when I'm watching movies of any kind or anything, I'm always looking at it from the allegorical, educational perspective. What is the universe trying? What is Mama Bird trying to show this little eaglet, who's finally learned to fly? Nah, a little shaky. Yeah, of course I'm a little shaky. I just got here too, right? And every flap of my wings, as I start to learn how to sail on the universal breeze, my wings get stronger. And then there's a bunch of other little eaglets that aren't quite ready in the nest, and I'm out flying around going, guys, this is amazing, oh my God. And they're like, what? Did you hear something? Because they're not even looking over the nest yet. And then eventually, a few of them get kicked out of the nest. And lo and behold, hey, told you, isn't this cool? And they're going, yeah, that was scary though. Whew, that was scary. Yeah, it was. But you're here, you made it. You're tuned in. Congratulations. The fact that you're listening in right now tells you everything you need to know about you, and the fact that you need to stop doubting yourself because you made it here. That's part of my deal. I said only those that are ready come to this table. That was a deal 3.5 years ago. And isn't it funny? Some feel they're ready, they come to the table, and they can't handle the truth. It's too much for them. It's too much responsibility. Too much doubt. Too much letting go. Too much entrapment with the ego. I got to play the game. I got to stay in the meat stick game. This is way too much fun. And they're missing the grandest show of their lives as they wallow through the grandest illusion in the universe. Welcome to the tough level. Welcome to Earth. This is not for the faint of heart or the faint of ability. This place is the playground of the gods. Only here can we do what we do. Only here can we sense lack, loss, fail, drop. Okay? It's a very, very alien thing to a god, don't you think? Thought you might. Yeah, so the first steps that we take, the first steps that we make are scary. Just like the roller coaster, the first time or the second or third time going up and down that roller coaster because it's brand new to you can be very, very unnerving. But the more times you go around the roller coaster, you start getting used to the drops. And of course, like a roller coaster allegory, you go up another, when you do the first big hill, you go up another one, and it's not quite as high as the first one, but it's still got a good drop to it, so you still get that belly rush, right? And then you may do a couple of twists and turns, inside 45 degrees, spirals and whatever. But eventually what happens to the roller coaster, the roller coaster eventually has to level out to get back on the level track. And it must also come to a full stop, which is your 0 point. It's when you get back to that 0 point and you reflect on the experience you just went through, you can decide what parts of it were ooh, and which parts were ah, and which parts scared you, and which parts made you blissful, and which parts were what, and whatever. And then you can choose to go on the same ride again, to master each of the things that scared you, until you get to a point where you're bored. By about 30 or 40 times around that roller coaster, I mean, you're hands up, baby, hands up, standing in the friggin' roller coaster car, dancing, because it doesn't scare you at all. First drop, second, third, whatever, it doesn't matter. You've mastered that particular ride. So what do you got to do? Well, most people just kind of hang around on the same ride, and yeah, it's fun enough for them. And then there's some of us that get out of the car and go, all right, where's the bigger roller coaster? I want one that's slightly bigger than this. I need a new rush. I need a new get me going in the morning. So we do. We leave the boring ride. We leave the kiddie roller coaster behind, and we go to the intermediate level. Everything's a fractal. We do the same thing in our society. We have kindergarten. You don't teach quantum physics in kindergarten, do you? No, you don't. But you teach what you get taught in kindergarten are the most important things that you will take for the rest of your life. You know, things like sharing and caring and loving and group chat, and sitting around and playing with your friends, and of course, the most important thing that I loved about kindergarten was show and tell. That's where you get a chance to show something and tell all your friends about it, and then share it, right? Like a toy or something, right? It doesn't matter. And that's what we're doing now. We've reverted back to the mirror of kindergarten. Now we're showing and telling, and we're sitting around this table so very eloquently, you know. sec. I want to see if we got Patty on the board here. I'm looking for 604. Did she make it in? All right. What I'm going to do, because that's kind of my mini rant over. I don't know if I'm going to get into the cards tonight, guys, because I'm way overcharged with energy today. I was not expecting this because of, well, last night's download. Had a great chat with Bryce and Ross out in BC, conveying some of the very thoughts I shared tonight about taking control of your game. Tell you what I will do. John just tagged me on Skype, so best get him accepted and get him into the 11 stuff room. Let's see if it's going to work. Oh, did I get it? Oh, it didn't grab. One sec, John. We'll get you in 11 stuff. There you go. You're in 11 stuff. Yay! Welcome to our room. So what I think I will do here is just tell you this. Stop looking at everybody around you and being at effect to them because they're pissing you off or doing stupidly annoying little things, and start handing out some Oscars for the contrast that these actors and actresses have given you unwittingly because they're too busy caught in their own egos. Be grateful for it. I am. And eventually, hopefully, maybe they might even wake up. I don't hold my breath for anyone, nor do I care. It doesn't stop to me to wake anyone up. You know, I've spent a lot of time with talons in my back, and this mama bird has just turned over. That's all. You see, and it goes back to like the, what do you call it, the lose the name game, right? Everyone knows that their identity is pure fraud, but they still cling to it. Oh, Ninja, let me get you on the board here. You know, and I got into a bit of that with Trace this afternoon. But this was the first time I had a chance to talk to her in 2 months. And what I said 2 months ago is completely irrelevant right now because that's past. I only deal in the now. And it's very difficult. That's what I discovered today, that I am actually an impossible interview for others now, unless they're at this table. Ninja, how are you, love?
Hey, Kate. How are you? I'm all right.
Yeah, good. Some good downloads, eh?
Yeah, I haven't heard you, dear, because I spent the first almost hour helping Carol to get on. It was mad. And I had to share screens with her and everything.
Wow.
And she's on now. She's
Finally,
on the board. So it's just a nice way to get it tested and sorted, and we're happy. So I just thought I'd let you know. I haven't heard what you've been talking about.
So I'm supposed to say hi to...
Babe.
I was going to say Ducati, babe. Yeah. You like your cars, do you?
No, that's a motorbike.
Oh, motorbike, rather. Sorry, yes.
Yeah, motorbike.
Yeah, it's funny, I saw one yesterday.
Did you?
There's a few of them around wwhere I have coffee with Vicky.
That's right, the biker place.
Yeah, we see the Ducatis and the Beamers, and I mean, that's their game. They're playing their game, and that's great. And see, here's the thing, guys. I just want to direct a better movie. What do you think? Would you not rather direct a better movie? We co-direct this together, co-create it together?
Oh yeah.
Well, these are the keys to the kingdom, boys and girls. And I mean that in the most literal sense I can say it. When you start directing your movie, when you start seeing who the characters are, no longer will that ebb and flow of the red road that leads back to your zero start again, so you can go back out on your golden spiral out. That tether's severed. Once that's severed, you're free. But while you've got attachments, here's the problem with emotions. While you have attachments, and I don't care what they are. It could be, a hobby or a pastime. Anything that has a grip on you, anything that has a hold on you, those are the eaglet talons holding on to you, Mother Bird. And that includes everything. This is why this road is so nearly impossible to find, and why so very few will ever walk it. You've got to really want this road, Because when you get this far down it, you start looking around going, people could misconstrue what I'm saying as being I don't care about anything or anyone else. That's what ego will interpret it as, but it's quite the opposite. The fact that I'm walking this road, for me, is absolute proof to myself that I want a better world, better creation, better reality for all. Their reality is going to be what they choose, but here's the thing about being an extra in this game. If you're an extra in the game, you're at the mercy of the cause of those that master it, and you become the ebb and flow. Unfortunately, what we've had going on here is someone that found this knowledge and has been using it for malfeasant purposes. Here's the trick, though. They get to fall as far as they rose, and they will always remember while they're coming back up to learn this lesson again. So there's a great amount of responsibility in truth, and knowledge, So I think maybe we'll bring Carol in just to test her mic out. I'm gonna grab Patty here as well. I think the mini download's over, but I got to tell you guys. Oh, hey, no problem, John, no problem. I'm just way too energized to get an accurate read on the cards. I've got to be in a very serene place.
Actually, that's fine, because I think Carol's really tired tonight anyway, so just test the mic and we'll practice for next time, and that's great.
Okay. Well, let me bring Carol in and get her on the show for the first time ever. Your mic's open there, Carol. How are you?
Hi, Kate.
There you are, hon. Oh, loud and clear,
Hi. I'm a bit shy.
Oh, good. So am I.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I cottoned onto that the first time I spoke to you. Yeah.
Well, wait till you actually get to hang out with me and you get to see the real me. You wouldn't believe what I have to go through, or have had to go through, to be able to sit and talk like this.
Oh, I've got a long way to go then.
No, see, that there's one of the tethers, right? That's the self-defeating tether.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't you happy with being perfectly where you are, in absolute perfection, exactly where you're supposed to be?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just ego.
Yeah, it's just program. We just got to bust the program.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
I have to laugh. Oh, go ahead, hon.
Sorry. No, I was going to say, for a long time I wanted to come on, and I've got this thing. I don't know if I've got anything to bring to the table. I'm not sure. Oh God, am I going to sound silly? What people are thinking? And I thought, oh shit, cut the crap. That is just ego, and that's why I decided to actually finally come on.
Yeah, well, here's what's happened. Mother Eagle Ninja kicked your sorry ass out of the nest.
Well, yes, but I think it was more down to me. I decided that's it. Now I realised that it was fucking ego. I thought, this is just crap. You got to cut it and face it, face your fears.
Well, that's the allegory.
So here I am.
That wasn't the literal I was sharing with Ninja. It's the allegory. What you did was, universe kicked you out of the nest, and universe in this case came as the form. No, it came as a form of Ninja. That's all. And look at how caring she was to make sure you got out of the nest, and here you are flying. How you like the view?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I love it.
So how tough do you think work with me here, how tough do you think it's going to be to call in again?
Oh, no problem.
Why? Because you have knowledge now. You have experience. Now you have wisdom. And you're not. This is what I tell everyone, including myself. You're not going to learn anything by not doing and experiencing it and facing your fears. So there's a baby step out of the way. This is a little baby step. It's a perfect example of what I speak of. So now you won't be so, in trepidation of clicking the Skype button to call in and say, "That's just Kate."
Yeah, and he who dares wins.
Well, that's it, Oh, there we go. We got. I tried calling Patty on bring her back in on the Skype, but she's on the phone now. Hey, did you get some charge in that battery, kiddo? Patty? Waiting for the time delay on the so she knows that she's. I love radio. Live radio is the best. You get the news right now, because there is only now, right? So, I think she fell off. Okay, so her battery must have died. Okay, yeah. So you see what I'm saying about the fear thing? That's the only thing holding us back is our fear and our unwillingness to confront the little baby steps.
Yeah.
You know, you've heard me on the air many times talking about the things that I've experienced. I went out of my way to scare the living shit out of myself. Taking a plane up and taking dive tanks down. Right. So it's as above, so below. I pushed my own limits at my pace.
Mm-hmm.
I've had lots of interesting experiences that have absolutely scared the living shit out of me. But I did them, and at the end of it, I went, "Whew, that was fun." And it's I could do that again. I could do that again. I could. And then, of course, you work your way through it.
And you don't realise how much ego and fear that you have until you start to confront one part of it. Then you realise, shit, there's more, and then there's more, and then there's more. Because yep. I've taken the baby steps and I've confronted a lot of my fears. But my God, there is just still so much more.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
No, I just...
Yeah, isn't it fun?
I just can't believe the amount of fear that's there. Sorry, I keep forgetting the time delay. I'm new at this, Kate. You'll have to forgive me for that.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. It's only about from here to France is you're probably dealing with maybe a second delay, so it's not too bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so let's get. This is a critical issue for everyone. This is the issue of all of it. Now, let's take it on a gradient. You get some people that get absolutely so terrified of everything and everyone around them and their own experience that eventually they go silent.
Yeah.
And for me, I mean, I've had many experiences of that, and it's an unwillingness for individuals to confront things within themselves. It's pure ego. It's pure program. It's not them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I've had so much programming. It's unbelievable. And
we all do.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I was going to let you roll there, I guess. Okay, sorry.
Sorry, yeah.
No, that's okay. I'm just trying to get, you just got your new wings. I'm just trying to let you fly a little.
Yeah, funny that I've been watching a little chick this week, little baby robin, and I've been following it around the garden and putting nuts out in water for the mum, and it's been absolutely beautiful to watch it fly, really lovely. And it's finally, I think it must have fell out the nest very early because it's been wandering around the garden, hiding in plant pots and behind bits and pieces, and watching it has been absolutely fascinating. So beautiful, but to watch it just fly and go and it's awesome.
And there's another beautiful analogy in that the only way that robin is ever going to see the nest again is if it learns to fly.
Absolutely.
So there's a good example of many of us that have been grounded because we fell, and we had to dodge and run and hide and the predators and until we get to a point where, now I have the ability to fly, and then you fly, you become the untouchable, right?
Mm.
So it's nature presents everything that we need if we can be the patient observer, but we're too busy with our little gadgets and trinkets and garbage and landfill, that we go and pick up with, the skin and souls of our brothers and sisters on Earth based in fiat currency. Yeah, that's a good way to be. Not. So this is about taking back the control of your camera. So what I was saying earlier with regards to looking at a movie screen, if you're sitting there yelling at the movie screen, what you're doing is you're yelling at the program. And the program is now directing you instead of you directing it. So take, for example, if you have someone that you're constantly going head-to-head with, okay? They're constantly pushing all your buttons. We'll call that your best supporting, the actor going for the best supporting Oscar as villain. And the longer they can keep you distracted from your movie, the better the Oscar they get, right? So what I'm doing now is I'm just handing out awards. I'm done with their movie. That's great. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for showing up. I know who the heroes are. I know who the villains are. I know what the roles you were playing. You almost got an Oscar on that one. Not quite. You really didn't have me convinced, but you convinced me. You get the Oscar of Oscars. Again, how did we fall into being an effect to our own projection? So what's happened here is the projectors got overruled and overrun by the ego program that someone else was able to take control of. And we've talked about all measure of how the ego was taken control of. It's much easier to indoctrinate it and train it from birth to act and think in a certain way by planting the right seeds of thought than it is to try to keep people caged and corralled in, FEMA camps, which are, again, just more allegorical displays of how free we are, because that's the fear of the system. You see, when people look at something going on, be it chemtrails or FEMA or whatever the case may be, I laugh, because all that is a materialization of the absolute fear the now defunct directors have of the movie that is now out of their control. There's a new script being written right now, and we're doing the writing. And I assure you, those that are sitting around this table, you guys are like the cool cats of the Screenwriters Guild. You're the writers that every writer, wants to be. Write a good one. This one is going to be remembered for eternity. Write a good script now, will you? And I know you will, because we're co-producing and co-directing now. We have a similar vision. We're all looking at the same book now from slightly different perspectives. Now we've got better camera angles on the book so that we can show it, the movie, to all. Because my camera angle isn't enough. I've got a few different angles that I look at things, but it's still not going to get the whole race. So this is how we work together to take the full panorama in. You've got a camera where you are, Carol. Ninja's got one. Everyone in, let me go down the list. Magnolia, Holly, Amelia, Nav, John, Stola. List goes on and on and on and on and on, right? These are all your future screenwriters that are working at this table, collectively, all of us. And we're writing the new script for the new paradigm and for this realm shift. And we're writing a hell of a good one, I know we are. And it's totally taking down all of the garbage, and that's what we have to do first. In order, we have to build a new set. So we got to get rid of this old set. Now, some of the props that are in the old set are things like identification, right? Courts and corruption and corporations and materialism and greed. These are the old set. And the longer we cling on to those, you're not going to be in the new movie. I'm sorry. And you're not going to be part of creating it because you're still at effect of the old one. So until you can let go of that shit, you're going to stay as an extra, or you might even have a higher up role in the physical game illusion. You might actually be famous. You might have a really, really well paying job. Making like a banker billions kind of thing. But what have you got? You are the big fish in a shot glass. I wouldn't even say pond, because it ain't a pond. Right? You've been pond, is what it is. Right? Just a coincidence that word works, by the way. So, what do you want to do? Do you want to maintain the old set and be a part of it? Because the longer you stay a part of the old set, the old stage, the longer the old show goes on for you, where it changes for us. So if you want to be a part of the new movie, this is where you get to use the ego and appeal to it. If you want to be part of the new movie, then you're going to have to do a few things. You're going to have to really choose it. You're going to have to want it. I was talking to a friend last night, talked about a recent split up, and the first thing I thought of was, cool, they chose the truth. Because as soon as you choose the truth, the universe puts everything, kicks you out of the nest. Literally. And the level at which you stand in the truth is going to be determined by how hard you get kicked out of the nest. And for some are more ready than they know. Because universe, Mother Bird, will never let you fall. You'll only fall as far as you need to see the contrast. So when I was talking with Tracy this morning, I'll give you an example. This is a beautiful contrast. You know, when someone talks about traveling or whatever, and they say, well, I still have this because in case I get this happen, and I said, look at you creating something in the old paradigm. And then, of course, the program kicks in and starts defending it. And I said, no, so I'm not going to play that game. Right? I'm not going to play that game. Because what you've done is you're still working in the old set thinking instead of creating the new set and understanding who you are, really who you are. Yes, the ego needs crutches here and there. I know I've used a few because I wasn't quite ready to soar yet. But I knew that. I have no expectations. What I have are experiences. I don't know how I'm going to handle everything, but I sure as hell will as soon as I'm there. But I'm not going to manifest stuff ahead of time like that. What I will is I'll start manifesting my own universe by asking questions and, you know, and watching the present creation that I've just put together, changing my own timeline, and watching these things come into play, like license plates and the truck flying by. Again, says no name on the side of it. Right when I was, like I turned my stereo up at the instant when I asked. It was a big question, for me anyway, that I won't divulge. This was mine. I turned the radio or my stereo up, and of course Styx is playing. I don't know where it's at. I always keep it turned down. I only turn it up when I need to have an answer from the universe, and I mean that literally. My whole universe is on the Styx Greatest Hits CD. It's all there. It's the same story, right? So that's my choice of reference. So I turn it up, and it says, "You're fooling yourself if you don't believe it." At which point I start laughing and nearly peeing myself. You know. I drew a card last night. I asked same sort of question, and the question was, what is and who is my strongest ally? And I was speaking in a very allegorical sense, so as I was shuffling the cards, then I cracked it open. What card do you think came up? Going to be so blatantly obvious when I tell you, but if you were a betting girl or guy, knowing what the cards are, I'll give you a hint. It was in the major arcana, which of course it had to be. What do you think it might be? Any ideas, Ninj?
I'm not sure which deck you used, but I think I know because you told me.
the Arthurian. Well, you can tell everybody. What card was it?
No, you didn't tell me about the Arthurian one. You told me about the Mayan one.
Oh, that was the Ahau from yesterday. Well, the Arthurian.
No, the other one, Polarity.
Oh, Polarity. That was the split from last night.
Is that not what you're talking about?
No, I'm speaking of the Arthurian. So I did the split, and here's the card turned up: the Giant's Dance, card 21, the Universe.
No, you didn't tell me about that.
Yeah. So what I'm doing now is I'm testing my present creations, and I'm trusting in them. And lo and behold, what is materializing? Exactly what the intent was.
Very nice.
That's the thing. In order to trust yourself, you have to surrender. You have to surrender completely and let go of the tethers that are holding you. Pinocchio. That's why directors call cut. Why do they say that? What are they cutting? So here's the thing: if you find yourself in constant turmoil with, say, one individual or another, or you're harboring some animosity towards someone, you are at complete effect to the ego, right? And some people are so good their ego entertains them, right? That's their only entertainment. They haven't even got that far yet. They're too busy wallowing in their own little universe, right? So they're not even ready to surrender to themselves yet, never mind anything or anyone else, right? And that's an extreme. And then you go to the other extremes, the ones that finally let go and surrender and just breathe. Like I said with the eaglet, when it finally just gives up and it throws its arms out wide and surrender, what happens? You've opened your wings, for crying out loud. You're finally sailing. So why don't you come sail away? Oh, Bindi's here, so let's bring Bindi in.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
How are we all?
I am awesome. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm fired up like yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to say it. I can feel it.
Yeah. I'm downloading like a nutcase. I think it's going round. I was chatting with Paddy today, and she said the same thing. It's going off like a fireworks. Pretty much figured out why too.
Yeah, that's the old. The clocks are finally ticking and talking.
Yes.
You see the dominant frequency happening now. Our download's friggin' awesome.
Yeah.
They just don't stop either. It's like go.
No. Yeah. I had the wolf today as one of the main things that kept popping up, and it was awesome because I turned on the computer this afternoon, and immediately 5 minutes later I saw your announcement. I'm on Wolf Spirit Radio. I thought, oh fuck, there it is again. So it was wolf all day. The first card I pulled when I woke up was from the animal deck was a wolf, and well, the download was completely wolf orientated as well. So yeah, it's funny how that works.
Well, when you start seeing it, you can do nothing but go and then you start kicking yourself in the ass because like, how did I miss this? How did I not see this? But that's good because you're seeing the contrast. And that's what we need to see. You're not going to see anything until you see the contrast.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You want to hear a bit of it?
Sure. That's why you're on, isn't it?
Okay. Oh, shoot. Well, because it was wolf, I did a tiny mini little, how do you call it? A beginner's lexigram on the words a werewolf. Aware, where, re, or ra. Wolf, wool, foul, low, or flow. And then the words alpha wolf flowed in. The alpha wolf or the wolf pack flows. Aware of each wolf, aware of its own space and worth. Youngsters are safe to learn, and mother always watchful to discern. We need to learn to discern the voices and symbols during our run through the proverbial forests of time to arrive in the now. The alpha or female wolf, the alpha state of the brain, corrects. It corrects youngsters with a firm, loving manner and stays divorced of judgment other than what experience she knows. All we perceive is energy. If it flows in all directions, even those directions you can't fathom. Then it makes no sense to believe a memory only works one way. Yeah, that was it.
Okay, sorry, I just had my mic muted there. I wanted to just kind of sit back and get in your zone. Yeah, so, I think if there's anything I want to share with people is, like, lighten up. Stop taking the movie so seriously. Grab some popcorn.
Yeah.
Chill. And that's coming from someone that's had the living hell raped out of them on levels that I know most people couldn't handle. Why did I do it? Well, because that's what I came to do. Doesn't make me a hero, and it doesn't make me a villain. Doesn't make me a victim, doesn't make me anything. Just makes me a damn good observer. That's it. That is it.
Yep.
I am one of your cameras shooting the movie from this angle. I got a really cool angle on this chariot race. I've got them coming just into the finish line, and there we are. And like we're right out. We're like there's nothing, not even close to second. Can't see anything. But we got this beautiful, card 7, the chariot, come racing across the finish line. I've got this beautiful camera angle, and I can see the checkered flag, and I can see the crowd going crazy, and we win.
Yep.
How do you like that angle?
Perfect, like an uber fractal IMAX.
Yeah, pretty much, Now, there's some people that don't realize they have a camera, and right now some of them have their cameras focused on a rock on the ground. Do you think that one will make the movie, or do you think that one's going to hit the cutting room floor?
I hear something thudding on the floor. Yeah.
There we go. So you have to decide if you want your scene in the movie or not. And it better be a damn good one. Right? We've been watching this movie from someone else, and it's been fun. Don't get me wrong. It's but it's been a little one-sided for the fun. So we're bringing that pendulum back. Hey, come on, we're all in the movie here. How about we play this now? Because now I've got control of my projector back, my ability to create. And now this download I'm in right now is still underway. Like I was stalling during the writing of this essay I'm working on. Now, here, let me just share something with you guys. Because I do that. This is what I like to do. I kind of hang out that way, right? So, one sec. MJ's tagged me. Okay, I'm going to be touching base with MJ after the show. All right, here we go. Let me just bring it up. Where is it? Lights, camera, action. I spell it a little differently. You know how I spell. Right? I rework the spells into what is really going on. As I've said to people before, the light that you see outside of you, that's the lie of love. T, creation, right? This is not yours. This is someone else's lie. The only light, the true light that we have is within, right? This is where we direct our movie from. Ka, Mer, Ra, camera. Ka, spirit, Mer, divine feminine, mother, the open sea of creation, right? Letter C, open sea, right? And of course, Ra, the light of God, you. And of course, the act, Io, mine, ion, right? N means possessive. Whatever it's connected to means it's mine. I own it. Concept. And Io, of course, is the original goddess, which is the masculine intent, I, or one, and the creative void, O, or zero, feminine. Right? You'll see it in everywhere, binary, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The whole program is based on binary of ones and zeros, ons and offs, right? So I'm just cracking open what I've got of this little essay. I'll share a bit of it with you. But it's still coming in, but I can see it now. So I'm not going to be at effect to any of the character actors in my movie any longer. I'm going to look at them going, cut. Okay, let's reshoot that scene. I've already seen that scene a few times. That one's not going to make the movie anymore. So, but thanks. Your audition's over. Goodbye. Next. So what I'm going to do now is start picking and choosing the actors and actresses in my movie. And I assure you, this one right now I don't want any villains. I don't want any negatives. I don't want any villains. I want to gather the positives and the ones that are trying to create this beautiful never-ending story that is a whole lot more fun and a whole lot less dangerous to play in the physical sense, where we can start manifesting things in real time and recreate ourselves in our own image for a change instead of being created in someone or something else's. And God made man in our image after our likeness? Well, fuck you. I'm okay with me. I'll take care of my image, all right? So here we go. Am I blunt enough for people? I think so, yeah. Anyway, here we go. So here's the beginning of it. Yeah, I've got a few minutes. I can run through this, just let you guys see where my head's at. And, you know, this way, if I throw something out, you guys have some ideas, throw it into the Skype room. Let's say I need to hear from the other camera angles. This movie we're shooting, so here we go. We're all actors upon this great stage, where all the world, and in fact the universe, is that stage. Very few will ever truly see it at any given time of now, and only because they refuse to pay any admission to the higher playgrounds. This payment is expensive to most, where one must surrender a complete half of one's mind, or ment. But the good news, it's really only about 10%. The one scientists claim we operate on, the 10%. In truth, I don't really know where to begin, because what I am about to share in this essay will be far beyond the comprehension of a typical day-to-day meat stick extra. I know what they are because I was one once not so long ago. Where someone, or rather their ego program, will react to the aforementioned, one has looked outside of themselves to judge another where I was merely judging myself. The only one I can judge. What I will share here, if you can see it, are the keys to entering the magic kingdom, without the need for shrooms or the like, albeit they are helpful shortcuts. I prefer to play my role as I see it, and be the neutral observer of it equally and in the same moment. And to begin with, I feel I must share the differences between the worlds we live in that one is visible and the other is not. It's no wonder people miss the other one they can't see while staring at the illusions they can see. As a preface to this claim of reality, let me share the notion. Sorry, my Skype thing's in the way. Let me share the notion that everything in the visible light spectrum is only ever as it was created, not as it is. We cannot physically see the now moment because of the time it takes light to get to our eyes and then to have that light decoded into what we perceive as reality. The reality we then see is past tense, due to the limitations of the physical world we are experiencing. Let it also be clearly stated that most are not willing to pay the price to see it based on all the computations being made in this past tense physical illusion. A well-trained and indoctrinated ego will never allow itself to be derailed due to the level of programming it has endured, and all by our ignorant, willful intent and consent. This is the Chinese finger trap of traps. This is the eternal serpent devouring its own tail ad infinitum, where I simply choked and started to puke it back up. Where most are content to play the life-after-life physical illusion game, some of us have chosen to shift the game to a level more conducive to co-creation versus creation theft by directors of a different movie. We've all been carefully duped and manipulated into playing a game of another master's choosing, and we get culled and harvested accordingly. To say I'm weary of that nonsense is an understatement. And nor will I even attempt to awaken another to this, because this is something we all need to see for ourselves. I am merely offering some insights for those truly seeking the game change option. I would also say that it's not magic. I would also say that it's not magic, but in truth, it is, and of the highest order. When we look back over our life experiences, particularly the one we're currently in, we can find a common thread and purpose if we so choose. It is difficult to choose our paths if we are unaware of the thread in the first place, so here's a hint as to where to start and how to begin. I can only use my own experience because that is all that is truly real to me, where everything else is a shadow reflection of me, the co-created. Here are a few facts to set the stage. Let's use the starting point of Dorothy and Toto, where they began their quest to the Emerald City after their world came crashing down around them. First, let me welcome you to the world of Oz, the playground of the universe. After all the fanfare of the Munchkins, Glenda, and the appearance of the Wicked Witch of the West, Dorothy and Toto step into the center of a dual spiral, one spiraling in, one spiraling out. This is where I'm going to get all allegorical on your ass to attempt to give you the eyes to see this properly. Dorothy deciphered is the door of God, your divine self and eternal spirit, where Toto is your allegorical clue to knowing thyself, your full self in full character, Toto Jeannery. Well, if you don't believe me, look it up for yourself. The twin spirals are the metaphor of creation's ebb and flow, breathing in and out, and this unlikely duo are beginning at 0 point. The colors of the roads are also allegorical. The red one spiraling in is the emotions, or egocentric, with the gold being the road of an infinite creation spiraling out, as above, so below. To place you on the 0 point is easy. It's called your birthday and birthplace, and why so much effort was put into claiming both aspects from us in the physical illusion players. That's where I've got to. I've already covered the idea that you must, in order to know where you're going, where did you start? What was the purpose of you coming here? Your biggest clue is your birthday. But everyone's too busy blowing out candles and having a great time getting hammered and, where's my gifts and all the rest of it, that they miss the true purpose of what the birthday is. It's your starting point. That's why they wanted to claim it. They wanted to claim your way, your name, right? Allegory. That's etymology. That's what name means. It means way. What is your way? So when someone asks you, for you to give them your name, what you're saying is, here is my way, you can have it. So you've lost your whole direction.
So the whole saying of have your way with someone is literal.
Absolutely.
Right.
Another layer of that, when a cop asks for your name, what they're asking, are you part of the horror system of Babylon, or are you free? Because if you don't have any id entity, or identification, they have nothing. So if you, feel the need to have something, then use the key that opens the lock and locks it. The birth certificate was the key that locked you in. It's also the key that will unlock the same door. But you just have to understand how to turn the key to stop the bleeding. The tourniquet, right? It's very easy. It's fraud. There was intent. If you want proof of the intent to commit fraud, are there any registry offices built anywhere in the world? The answer is yes. So the intent was so huge, they actually built buildings, or built rather, so that you could go to make sure that you committed fraud. But the intent there to aid and abet you into your own ignorance and deception and giving up something without full disclosure is obviously and can only be intent from the one putting the buildings up to do so. There was intent to defraud with the very structure called the registry office or bank, whatever the case may be. You see, intent always comes what was I going to say there? Intent or thought always comes before action, before anything enters the physical realm. Everything in the physical realm is only proof of what you thought of. Trying to think of better allegories. If someone walked into a store with a gun to rob it, the intent is there. But let's say they get in there and they don't follow through with it, and they just buy a bag of chips or something and leave. Did they commit a crime? No, because it wasn't shown in their actions, you see. It's only when the intent becomes manifest in the action does it actually become the crime. You can't have one with the other, you see. So if a crime is committed, the intent must be there first. Now, whereas somebody inadvertently, I'm going to give you, this is one that just came to mind here. There was an individual, this is a true story. There was an individual, let's say, excuse me, here's how the story starts. A young lady was driving home one day, and she was caught in traffic. Next thing you know, bullet enters through her open car window, strikes her in the temple, and kills her outright. No one heard any gunshots, and it was a mystery. They couldn't figure it out where this bullet came from. So during the forensics, they discovered that this particular bullet was not a very common one. It was from a rather rare rifle. And they had a list of different owners of these rifles that they took a while to compile, but there was, I think, maybe half a dozen or so of these things in existence. I believe it was New York State this happened in, or New Jersey rather, New Jersey. And they were going around, checking the different gun owners, to see where they were, what was going on, and blah blah blah. And they got stumped, but I think it was there were 7 of them, if I recall the story. Anyway, they got to the last guy, and they asked him about this particular rifle that he owned, and had he been, shooting or with it or whatever. And it was at this point that this guy's face went white, and he said, "Yeah, I was at that time, but I was over on the other side of the harbor." Because he had a little shooting range set up there that he would occasionally go out to and, shoot. It was a hobby he had. He just target shooter. He collected relics and whatever, and this was a relic of a rifle. And hard to get ammunition, whatever. That's why they were able to track it down. But his face went white, and he said and it was across the harbor. It was miles away from where this happened. Miles. So what had happened was, when he was out target shooting, as fate would have it, he missed one of the targets, and the bullet struck the water of the harbor. And it hit at such a perfect angle that it didn't stop the bullet. The bullet skimmed, ricocheted off the surface of water tent. Now that's a very, very, never mind the rarity of the gun, even that happening is extremely rare. We're talking, billions, one in tens of billions of this ever happening, but it happened. And so what had happened was, I think it was about 8 or 9 miles away. So it was a long way off where this girl actually got hit from where he was shooting from. And this bullet had only enough speed when it hit this young lady to do the damage it did, because it was way out of its range. But it just the way it hit the water and the energy transferred, it carried it something like 8 or 9 miles, and through missing everything, and ending up going into a window of a moving car and striking this young lady on the temple. The odds you can't even calculate. But there was no intent to kill, you see. This is why we always have to be very mindful of our actions. Because sometimes inadvertent things do happen, and we certainly don't intend them. That's not our intent. But there's still the full responsibility of, and no charges or anything related. It was deemed an accident, and just one of those really shitty situations. And this individual has to go through the rest of their existence with that on their conscience, something for them to sort out. It was not intentional, but I assure you, those are the most painful ones to deal with. All right? So there was no intent to do that, but the action spoke for him. The intent to pull the trigger was there. The intent to shoot at a target was there, so there was intent to pull the trigger. And once that trigger is pulled, this is why you need to understand how powerful you are. Once you pull that trigger, once you say that word, once you think that thought, it's out there. And some of those thoughts are going to skim off the waters of truth, and they're going to carry, and they're going to have amazing repercussions, be they good or be they evil. That's why we have to be mindful of it. This movie we're shooting is a very, very careful one. And only when we start to take back, the fact that we've moved from being a meat stick extra, we've moved up into, minor supporting roles, and we move into a more starring role, best supporting and all the rest of it. And then we enter the larger game, and you become, more of a player in your movie, as I'm more of a player in my own movie now. Then you move into director, and of course, now as we gather together all the directors, now we have what are called producers, producers, right? Duce, the Duke, King, the hands, creation, for being pro, right? Anyway, so mini rant over. Just wanted to share that. Feel free, anybody, jump in. Wow. Are we having a moment here, or did I get knocked off the air again?
No, you're still here, Kate. I was thinking, tricky little bastard when turns, hang on, lost the thought. Where are we? Yeah, tricky little bastard turns gutsy humble devil. Once you've learned to tame the ego.
Yeah,
it actually turns out to be a crafty little handy thing to have around.
Oh, it's beautiful once you understand how to utilize it. It becomes the chainsaw.
Yeah, timing is everything. Yeah.
That is my chainsaw.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
It's when you get the TLB under complete control. We have area code 250. I have a feeling this might be Bryce calling in.
No, it'd probably be Adam White.
Adam, oh my goodness, how are you?
Dad, how are you doing?
Oh, stellar. You should see my movie from here.
Oh, I can just imagine. Your world is full of light.
Oh yeah, we try anyway. It's it took me a while to get the set up the way it is, with the lights and whatnot. But before you go, one second, Adam, we're going to be rolling over into the recording in a couple of minutes. So I want to get the word out. So just give me 30 seconds here. Anybody that wants to join in the show, please refresh your page now. Call in via Skype. Just hit the Skype button to get on the board if you want to roll into the recording part of it, or you can call in area code 661-467-2401. Okay, and great big thank you to criticalmassradio.co.uk. Paul Giovanni, what a co-creation, my friend, and of course Lisa and the crew at Critical Mass. Thank you guys so much, and please, if you can help, do so. We'll leave it at that. That's all it needs to be said. Nothing more, nothing less. So there you go. Adam, what's on your mind, my friend?
Well, hey, all kinds of crazy things going on over on Riptide, and we're beating them down. It's kind of a little bit of fun for me, but it's absolutely despicable for the rest of humanity. So, anyways, I put up a little recording on the website, protection.libertybeacon.com, a conversation I had with Doug Lenseth, a teacher in New York that was trying to pick up a 10-year-old on Kids Chat.
Nice.
Anyways, but that's kind of like beside the point. It's your show, so.
Actually, it's everybody's. I just push the buttons on screen and off, baby.
Anyways, yeah. So if you get a chance, and also we are responsible for UCLA Michael Sodenheimer. I always call him Sodenheimer, for resigning, athletic director. He was also found on Kids Chat trying to pick up little boys and little girls. So, the work we're doing behind the scenes on these things is impeccable. I really hope.
Oh,
hello?
Yeah, I'm listening. Tell you what, I'm going to add it. No, it's okay. I'm going to add a flavor to what you're saying there. As you're talking, you see, people will always be talking literally, and I will only ever hear them allegorically. So allegorically, what you're actually sharing with the world right now is the destruction of this part of the set. You see, because every one of these, villains that get brought into the light, they're playing their role, you see. They get brought into the light, of course, for me is another indication of those things getting removed from this movie, from this set, right? And that's what we're doing. We're tearing down the old set to build our new one. And the new one's already designed. It's ready to go. We have a bigger vision of tomorrow, and it certainly doesn't involve any of these, kitty chat pickup artists. And they are getting exposed for what they are. And here's the thing, too. Once an individual, and this is, for me, more critical than anything you could ever do in terms of justice, because once they are actually brought into the light, they can never retreat from it. They're destroyed. We don't need to do anything else.
They're all finished. I mean,
they're done.
If you go to riptide.in, Kate, it's like it's a usury of destruction, because all of these individuals have been caught and have given their private identifying information to one of the decoys, and it just goes to show you how stupid some people really are. And I mean, when you're looking at like somebody like a UCLA athletic director down in California, and he's been there for 30 years, and he's on a kids chat. Well, like, what are you thinking? It totally blows my mind.
Okay. Well, let's put another layer on it too, Adam, while we're at it. Okay, let's really nail this thing home. We're not dealing with individuals here. What we're dealing with are programs that were instilled in these individuals. You see, the problem isn't with the individual, it's with the system. And the system is what needs to get taken down, because the system created these monsters. The religions created these monsters. Because when you're dealing with a child, okay, and I'm talking every one of these individuals at one point in their existence was a child. And that child got corrupted by this system, by the very thing that we are all party to and part of until we separate ourselves. So we as a collective consciousness are fully responsible for the individual, for the villain. So what part of the game are we playing in manifesting these villains? And I'll tell you what part we're playing. The masses of the people are playing the biggest role in keeping the system going, so that these individuals that started out life just like the rest of us ended up becoming the monsters based on the programs that were thrust into them. Depending on what happened to them, who knows? They could have been raped as children. They're just remanifesting the same pain. For me, I will always remain, I have no emotion on this at all. I've been there, right? I've been raped, okay? I get it. And I also know that the individuals that do these things to children especially are products of the system, the very system that everyone is saying, oh, I don't want the system, but they'll go to the bank and they'll cash their fucking checks and they'll go get their government fucking payouts and they'll get this and that and the other, and they'll be the first to fucking whine that there's something wrong with the system, that we have problems. And me, I'm just going to stand there with an aluminum baseball bat. I'm going to paint it pink, because that's the sound it's going to make when it goes off the side of your head. Pink! Get it? So I am not going to stand back and center out. This is why I bring this up, Adam. This is critical. Because if we start focusing in on blame on an individual, yeah, it's great, let's pull them out. It's not something you would do, nor would I. We've experienced it. It's certainly not something we would do. But are we not remanifesting the same nonsense by not taking full responsibility for the system in which we are supporting and living in? You see, the boot has to be put on the left and on the right foot, so that be careful that when you're kicking with the right, you're not getting the left up your own ass. So this is why
I totally agree with you there.
Right.
You know a little bit of my history and where I come from, and the point is it's a matter of the reason I do this and continue a fight here is because, as far as I'm concerned, no child should ever be harmed.
Right.
And the system is already harming them with all kinds of, whether it's child protection services, social services, or anything else like that. But when we get like a predator trying to pick up a child, that's, that child could easily be raped, killed, or whatever. And
Adam,
this is something that
Adam, I'm not going to sit here and argue the semantics because you're absolutely right. Quite frankly, that for me is a rerun. What we're dealing with here, though, keep doing what you're doing, don't get me wrong, but why are we focusing on the pawns of the system instead of the would-be masters and kings and queens of the system, you see? Why are we not going after the Masonic lodges that generate these wankers? Why are we not
going after the Council of Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission?
Thank you. Now we're getting somewhere.
Bilderbergs.
Well, I don't call it. Okay, Jesus Christ, I don't want to get into this. I really don't, Adam. This is so fucking meat stick. Honestly, you're missing my ethereal.
That's where the top of the chain is. You know.
Okay.
And I mean, if people are going to go.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let me just ask you this. You can call it Bilderberg, and I even said Masonic Lodge, whatever. Who are we going after here? Who? Not what. I mean, I'm tired of dealing with fictitious corporations. I mean, for me, this is about taking on the Crown Corporation itself and the board of directors of the Crown Corporation.
Okay. If you want to go after who, then it is pretty easily identified. It would be number one. You're in Canada, so it would be the Queen of England and her family and her corporation. You realize that everything that's
Adam, they're still pawns. They're too obvious. They're too obvious.
Okay.
The ones I'm after are the ones you don't see. You see.
Okay.
Right?
Who would it be then, Kate?
Well, that's
because I don't want to shut it down.
Well, that's why I'm putting it out into the ether, you see, because what happens now in my movie, the creation will show itself. Watch. We just put the questions forward. It's about deciphering what's going on with the current set to break it down. So for me, who are the individuals that are actually running the puppets like the Queen and Obama and the rest of these individuals that are the ones in the public eye? You're not gonna put yourself in the public eye if you're running this game. No, certainly not. You're going to remain very hidden. Those are the ones I'm after, right? And I'm talking from the very ethereal. But again, my angle of approach of this camera is entirely different because I am focusing on the things that are out of most people's camera view. They're even out of mine, but I know they're there. But if I keep my camera trained on it long enough, they will show. Because I know they're there.
Okay. Kate,
yeah.
They're so brazen enough nowadays, they actually are in public eye. They don't hide anymore.
Oh, I assure you they're not in the public eye as much as you think. What we need to do is start taking out some of the hierarchy.
Name off your billionaires and so on and so forth. You can name off a few trillionaires, which they never put on Forbes. But, most of them are, they just don't care anymore. They think that we're all part of the system. We are to be used and abused for their own pleasing, and it is that simple.
Again, I'm going to bring it to the higher plane here, because we're still getting caught up in the drama. All right, it's very easy. This is why I'm telling people it is so difficult to see things from where I'm sitting, and I know why. Because there is so much that has to be let go in order to see the truth behind it. We can spend all our time dealing in the physical with these predators, and we need to, absolutely, but we need to fix the ethereal first. And I'm telling you right now, Adam, this is not going to be explained in an hour or 10 hours. This is exactly what I've been talking about for months, every single night for 2 and 3 hours.
Okay.
Well, yeah, please.
It just occurs to me that what you're talking about, it just reminded me again of that thing that happened to me that I've shared already previously, and I've just been reminded of when I gave no more permissions and I made that statement to myself here privately and but I did do it out loud, and all those dark entities backed away from me. Now, they're not public figures. They had no faces I recognized. They were just, hidden, invisible, but somehow I was able to see them. I couldn't have known they were there until I saw them leaving. And I think this is what you're talking about, that there are energies and entities that are operating around us and puppeting others that we think we know who they are, but you don't. But they're definitely there, because I saw them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And these are the ones I'm after. Right?
No, and exactly why I've reiterated that, because I wanted to explain that I believe that was what you were getting at. That we don't know their names. We know they're there. I can attest to that. We understand that puppets that we do see, who we can name, are just that, puppets. There's something more.
I'm after the unseen masters, my friend, and for me to try to even begin to explain what I have seen, what I've experienced, and what I know to be true, I don't believe this shit, I've lived it, is, everything else, for me, is distraction. It's like trying to fight a fire, with a fire extinguisher at the top, while the fire is raging below. And that's where everyone is. Everyone's up in the tree picking little branches off. Me, I'm at the roots with a chainsaw ripping that whole tree down, while everyone else is out distracted getting their little bits and pieces and solving this, that, and the other. I'm saying that what you're doing is absolutely important. I'm just trying to empower the perspective even more. This is great that you're grabbing, getting these guys into the light, because what it's doing is it's undermining the whole thing, because what you're doing is exposing things. But what I'm asking not to do is do not focus all of the energy on them. These guys are the pawns and the puppets of a more sinister master. And while we stay distracted looking at the illusions and the dramas and everything else, we're creating their movie for them. I'm out for the directors here, bud. I am out to cut the producer's throat, as it were.
Sweet.
I'm not into the actors.
And Kate, one of the things is that we turn around, we always elect our provincial governors or whatever, and our prime minister and the MLAs and the MPs and everything else around the country. But what ends up happening is that the bureaucrats, the ones that actually run the ministries, are there day
permanently,
in, day out.
Yeah,
and those are the unseen, and I know some of them personally. They are the unseen that
have the true power.
I have had some people laugh in my face saying, "Well, I want to get rid of Jean Chrétien because he's doing this and he's doing that," and they turn around and say, "Well, it doesn't make a difference because we're doing what we want."
Yeah,
but
again,
if they're the unseen, how have you seen them then? How do you know them?
Oh, well, I know a lot of people. I know a lot of...
but they're not the unseen. You see, you're still a little bit lower.
They are unseen to all the population.
No, that's not what we're dealing. Yeah, but we're not talking about that. Okay, but hold on, please. We're not talking about that. We're talking about something literally that you're not seeing. And the only way you're going to attack it is with your intention. So when you understand that there is something I'm not seeing, but I know that it must be there, I have to attack it on its level. And the only way I can get there is with my intention, because I'm a creator. So whilst you're doing wonderful work in the physical, you perhaps could do yourself a favor and everyone else and promote your own agenda, the end result of it, by using your intention to attack the unseen ones as well. And not just saying, sweet, let's now talk about these other dickheads that I happen to know. Were you missing the point a little bit?
I'm explaining. Excuse me, I apologize. I'm only saying that the unseen things that are really actually going on behind the scenes, behind the political parties and everything else, are a huge amount of bureaucrats that are getting high-paid wages, that are part of different systems, and they're different belief systems, that are using and abusing the rest of all of us.
And right now, Adam, and right now you are so heavily fucking dug into the physical illusion, it's going to keep going circular on you. What we're trying to do is offer you the tools to get the job done, right? This is about changing your intent, okay? Yes, your intent is good. You're exposing things. Absolutely. These physical steps that we need to. This is the early stages of the eaglet learning to fly, okay? What Ninja's trying to get across to you, these are the things that are unseen. Everything you've just explained to me and us is all dealing only and strictly in the physical illusion game. You're trying to fix the physical with a physical, like a fucking politician or civil servant matters. They don't. They're as much a puppet as everyone else is. And while we attack our own puppets, each other, we're attacking ourselves. And those that are really running the game and pulling the strings of all these puppets, at whatever level they're playing, be it a prime minister or whatever, which is a joke, right? The game will continue as, ad nauseum as it is. And sorry, we have to do something different because what you're suggesting, and I'm not saying you're actually suggesting it, it's the concept of what you're, how you're approaching the problem. You're approaching and I've done the same thing. We've all done this. We've all went at the same problems, trying to use the same methods and techniques, and where has it got us? Nowhere. So we had to change our tactics. So we had to take things to a different level, and we had to go way outside the box of thinking, because trying to solve old problems with old ways only ends up with what we have here, the old set. So we got to change our tack, our approach to it, and we got to really take that leap of faith and trust in ourselves and pull in our experiences. And I know that a lot of us that are tuned in here have had some pretty wild experience. I know I have wild experiences that just cannot be put into words. But when you see the magic, and this is what I'm trying to convey more and more every day, when you actually see the magic in real time and you make it happen, and you change things based on your intent and your ability as a God, you are God, and your ability to create, start focusing a little intent on this. Try this out, Adam. Get into your quiet space. Lose all the chitter-chatter of all the things that you're doing. You're doing the good things. I'm loving what you're doing. Don't get me wrong. We're still playing physical, spiritual. We've got to play both games. But what I don't want to have continuing any longer is everyone's still focused in the one game, because it's going to keep us in the one game, physical. We got to take this from the ethereal or the Air Force perspective, okay? So change your intent up a little bit like this. Keep doing what you're doing in the physical, but let's start solving the spiritual while we're at it, okay? What is the intent of the individuals that are causing these individuals, of course, through the system? Who are they? And start putting your intent towards that to expose them. And they'll expose themselves. And just to let you guys know, I think we have Jeremiah jumping in here, which I know he's always got limited time, so I'm just going to open your mic, Jeremiah, because I know you want to get in on the fray here. So what's on your mind?
I'm just listening to the conversation and hearing Adam talk about the physical and being rooted in it, and all I can think of, and I'm dealing with this all the time, is why work harder than you have to? Work smarter, not harder. That is my main motto, and why not work at the source, the cause of everything? And that's the etheric. That's the intentions. That's whatever it is that we decide to believe, and whatever it is we decide to grow at that point. And what he's doing is beautiful. And as you said, it's absolutely beautiful what he's doing, taking these steps and having that desire and that passion to go forward and help this world. But unfortunately, he's working harder than he needs to. And if he can focus on the etheric and trust in the universe and allow it to bring, what he needs to help his ultimate goal, his ultimate purpose, then he'll have that, that universal principles to help him fulfill those desires, that dream, that purpose. And it's infinite amount of help, and he'll attract those individuals that are in same frequency and same resonant frequency of what he has, to do. So as he focuses on the etheric and does at the same time and just listens to, his ultimate self, because only he knows what is good for him. And that's what we're here to do right now, is just focus, on the causal factor, not the effects. Like you said, like the fact that, what we're seeing now is past because the light, that's beautiful. I never thought about it that way. How, it takes a little while to get to your eyes. So it's past. It's still past right now, everything that's around us. So I guess the only time you can go present is when you close your eyes and start bringing your intentions and aligning them with the universe and allowing whatever it is that you want to grow, plant that seed, and then do. And but beautiful efforts, Adam, and I wish you well.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I do get what you guys. I do get. Let me
here, Adam. Let me give you the analogy. This will clear it up for you. As Jeremiah was talking, this is what came to mind. Imagine remember those world record dominoes setups that it would take weeks to set up, 1 million dominoes or whatever? Okay.
And 2 seconds to knock them down.
Well, it takes usually about 10 minutes or so by the time they get these things done up. But here's the thing. You've got the one guy that does all the setup, right? And there's one domino that they click to start the whole chain reaction, okay? Here's what you're doing. You're at the other end of the dominoes. You're at the end, and you're picking the dominoes away one by one. What we're trying to offer you and show you is, yes, pick them off one by one, but, there's a duality here. You got two of you, so let's play with both sides of it. So while your physical self is picking them off one by one, your spiritual self is going to that first domino and going, pink, and the whole fucking house comes down. That's where your intent is. And the only thing that's going to keep you from getting there is your distraction and being so wrapped up and rooted and grounded in the physical, trying to solve physical things with physical actions for physical reasons and all the rest of it. And we all get emotional. Everyone goes, you have no time to be God. So take some time.
That's why
that's an excellent analogy. I love it.
You are so succinctful in the way you say things.
Downloads.
Kate,
that's you.
Kate. Well, that's all of us.
Right.
And I do understand a lot more than I will ever say in some aspects. And yes, I do have to learn a lot.
We all do.
This is Kate. Can I speak, please?
Yeah, Carol, how are you?
I'm fine, dear one. How are you?
Good.
Adam, I love you. This is Carol in California, and UCLA is a big fish. And when I saw this on the news the other day, I was just elated because it awakened a lot of people. And I want to give you kudos for what you're doing. My daughter was raped by her father for years before I found out. And he was an athlete. He lettered in all sports. He was a student body president. He was a good guy. He was the big jock, and I was pretty popular myself. And we got married, and we thought we had a good thing going. This pedophilia is so insidious in our society that any one person doing a job such as you have done, Adam, you need about 10 million gold stars, my dear friend, and I'm here to support you in any way I can. And it takes all of us to do this job. My daughter, I found out in 1974, 75. There were no support groups for children that had been abused. And it wouldn't have done me any good to have called the police and had my daughter be the victim but the perpetrator herself because there was no support for pedophilia. They were always the ones that caused it. And now it's many years later, but there is an awakening happening, and its time has come, and it takes all of us to do this. And Adam, you're doing a wonderful job just where you are. I support you 100%.
I have one question for you, Carol. At what point did it seem that I wasn't actually supporting him?
When you started attacking Adam, and you seem to attack everybody that comes in, and I hurt everybody, and for you, Kate.
Kate loves me. And
just a sec, guys.
Thank you very much.
Guys, just a sec. All right? Because I don't want everyone to get all uptight and all emotional and all ego and all the rest of it based on a drama. Because, Carol, my dear, I muted you for a reason, okay? I felt every bit of your intent, and it did not feel nice, and it did not feel loving, and it was most certainly wrong from my perspective. My camera angle wasn't saying that at all. I was agreeing with what Adam was doing, because you seem to forget that I was raped. I didn't have a support group. Actually, I went for 32 fucking years before I asked my dad about it. Okay, that's how long it lasted with me. So before you come on here and start badgering, okay, I'm calling you out on this one, because it needs to be, because what has happened here is this energy has pulled everything back into the drama where I'm trying to get it out to a clearer picture, in that what Adam is doing is exceptional. What we are trying to do here is make him even more exceptional by giving him more tools. And I don't see what point my agreeing with Adam and his efforts ruffled your feathers.
Well, actually, I didn't see it that way. And,
no, I know you did. I didn't see it either, neither did the listeners. So that's why I'm calling this out. This is pure drama bullshit. And if you don't like it, Carol, fine. That's great. I love you. But I'll tell you, you come onto this forum and you take a swipe with an ego like that, I'm going to get the pink bat out. I'm going to start swinging it. That's the bottom line. Because don't forget who you're talking to and what experience I've got. Okay? I've been through the mill too, and I don't play the victim role.
Well,
I understand there's a lot of pain.
That's one of the main things about you, Kate, if I may, is you have been through a lot of these experiences, as well as you know my history, and I've been through a lot of these experiences myself. And, maybe, I'm not sure, but Carol was saying something about the fact that, what's going on, and there was no support. And today, there is more support today. So if we can get our minds over our lack of ability to help each other, we can actually start to support each other. And this is the reason of, I like 30 years ago, my mother used to get beat every day. And
okay, Adam, you know what, man? I'm Adam, hang on. No, I'm done with this. All right, I'm going to call this show right now. No, this has went.
Well, Adam, thank you very much.
No, hang on. Don't go anywhere.
Oh, okay.
I need to say this, okay?
Yeah,
because
no problem. I'm always listening to you.
Well, listen to yourself is what I want you to do. This is what I'm trying to get across to people. You see, what has happened here is this has went into this beautiful red spiral back to the zero. And there's Dorothy and Toto standing there going, what the fuck just happened? Okay? While you stay focused on what you're doing, that's fine. Do what you have to do. I am choosing to go after the domino that takes them all down. By all means. What happens in the meantime, in order to find these things, you're doing exactly what needs to be doing. I am not undermining or discrediting anything. I'm flowing all the light and love to you. We've known each other for a while here. So I get what you're doing, and I understand the compassion you're doing it with. I know you. You're virtuous. You have got this, and you've went through the experience, and you were part of this. But not for 1 minute will I ever allow anyone to come in here and shit on me for supporting something, especially something that I've actually lived through personally, not vicariously through another. I lived it personally. I understand it. There was no support. All I got was a sweep under the rug. Okay, I got up, dusted myself off, dealt with it as best I could, and moved on. And it gave me the lesson. It also gave me the allegory of knowing what my target was from a very young age, admiralty. It was Admiralty that raped me then, and it's Admiralty that's raping everyone else now. And the longer we stay embroiled in this Admiralty Phoenician phony law game of phonics and all the rest of the bullshit by taking the table scraps and feeding at the trough of the whore, please don't expect anything in your world to change. And certainly don't blame anything outside of you. Don't you dare. If you are playing with a whore, whatever happens in the whore is yours as well. You're part of the set. You're one of the extras or one of the leads. I don't care what you are, but you're still in the movie.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to pull people out of the movie. And if you want to, and please keep doing what you're doing, and I will support you in that. Absolutely. But don't lose sight of the big prize. While we get distracted with the little scraps of, this and that that the government has trained us so well to do, well, your bond, I'll use the allegories of your bond is worth billions, and you have to fight to get unemployment. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay,
yep.
So while everyone's fighting for their unemployment, i.e. picking the little scraps up, I'm out looking for the bond. I'm out looking for the allegorical start of this.
Yeah.
And
that's why I love what you do, because you're doing something that most other people out there, you look at people like, whatever, doesn't make a difference. But your words are succinct. Your understanding is unbelievable. And
we do this together.
And with all of us, we can make a difference. And that's why I always love listening to your shows, and I'm proud to be here, right now.
Well, I'll ask anybody in the call right now, what is the motto I speak of the most? We do this together.
Together.
And I'm not sure. Together. This is why whenever I see any sort of divide coming into the together, I'm a vicious bitch. I'll pull out the three-headed dog. I promise you. I say it every night. You want to bring it to the table, I'll bring mine too, and it's a nasty bitch. I feed her well, but I keep her on a short leash. So if you're not coming in with the intent to bring things together, then don't come in. And I will love you just as much as if you do come in. I don't care either way. It's very simple. What was your intent? Search yourself for your own intent. Was it motivated by the red road or the yellow brick road? Which road are you walking? Are you spiraling in or are you expanding out? And I'm tired of running this circle of out and in, out and in, out and in, and that's what this game has got us doing. So keep doing what you're doing, picking off the dominoes, Adam, and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, looking for the big one that clicks it over. And in the meantime, how about we get together on the whole idea that on the spiritual side of things, those things that are hidden that some of us can get to and see, let's just get on the agreement that, yeah, we can do this together. All I'm after is intent. Would you like the first domino knocked over? Sure you would. I know you would.
That's what I'm working towards, and I got other projects and stuff like that. And you talk very, in a sense, spiritual.
That's all I speak, my friend. I only speak in allegory.
In a sense of universal. But yeah, I do live. And we all do live in a physical universe. Unfortunately, we're in a 3D world. And I understand a lot of
Adam,
what you are saying.
Adam, you're putting limitations on yourself. We live in a physical...
No, I'm not.
Hang on. How about I finish what I was going to say to offer you something else in a compliment?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. When you limit it to just a physical reality, you've left out the 99% part. You're dealing in the less than 1% reality, physical. This one-dimensional thing that we're living in is less than 1%. You want proof of that? Well, go look up in the sky and tell me you can see X-rays, gamma rays, ultraviolet, infrared. Can you see all that? Or are those things hidden? But they are there, are they not?
I totally agree with you.
Okay. So what I'm asking, instead of limiting to let's deal as, we live in a physical world. Yeah, we do. And we live in a spiritual one. together.
Absolutely.
And in the spiritual, we are cause. In the physical, we are at effect. So what I'm trying to get in knowledge into people to start seeing that, because when fear and anger and ego and all the rest of it comes in, what that is saying is that you are not ready to let go. I know, I've been there. I am there. I'm not sure at what point people don't get what I say. You know, if you want to put me on a pedestal, well, please go ahead and try. I promise you I'll beat the shit out of you for it, to make sure that any pedestals that get built under me, you'll get beat with. Because this is an equal table. This is a level table. We come to the table. We don't come, bitching and screaming and accusing and throwing out all the wrong intents. Sorry. And nor do we get stuck in the dramas. We look for the allegories. Yes, here's the reality of what you're doing. Yes, children are getting harmed. I mean, hell, I've been in this game a long time for that. Okay?
Adam, maybe you get the version, you can't solve a problem on the same dimension, it was created.
Einstein.
Yeah. So only the man spoke.
Yeah.
You can't...
But then you actually have to realize that we live in a 3D world, and we don't see...
Mate.
And
yep.
There are only...
Broken record. Stop for a second, mate. Hang on.
Yeah, Adam, you're just going circular and drive me nuts.
Repeat.
Go ahead, Mindy.
Try and ponder on this one before reacting. Just listen with your heart. You cannot fix the physical problems in the physical realm. You need to get outside of that box to check out how to fix that if you want to in the end. Because once you're out, there's nothing to fix. But if you do have this strong sense of trying to fix something, my full respect you have, but don't try and do it on the same level that it exists. You're going to keep looping in a circle.
You're living in the past if you're trying to solve in the physical. The physical is past. You've heard the saying, stop living in the past. Well, that's what you're doing when you're trying to solve things in the physical, what you think is now. Alexis is joining us now as well. Everyone's mic is open. Yours too, Carol. Everyone's in. I just needed to calm that down a little bit. That was just getting a bit fucking stupid. Anyway, go ahead, Alexis.
Hi, Kate. I just have a quick story of an experience of what happened today that I think was meant to be shared in relation to this conversation. I went to this festival today called the Epic Sustainability Festival here in Vancouver, and it was intended to just be this beautiful experience of, sustainability. And I was walking through the park, and one of the vendor tents there was the TD, Toronto Dominion Bank tent. And my friend and I were walking by, and as we were passing the Toronto Dominion Bank tent, they stopped us. And the guy was talking to my friend and giving us this sales pitch about going to plant a seed, plant a tree, for this promo that Toronto Dominion was doing, of this, that they were planting all these trees, and instantly in my gut I knew something was wrong, and I knew I did not want to plant that tree, but I wasn't connecting as to why that was. And he keeps talking, and then when he stops, my friend turns to me and says, Alexis, why don't you go plant a seed or go plant a tree for your grandfather, for Alexander, because my grandfather has died recently. And as soon as he said that to me, spirit just hit me, and I remembered, and I stopped and I looked at that guy and I said, actually, yes, I would like to plant a seed today. I said, do you know that Toronto Dominion is the #1 financier of the tar sands in Canada? And he just looked at me and he was like, no, I don't know anything about that. And I go, well, yeah.
Nice seed.
Yeah.
That's the shit.
So
that's the shit I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Plant the seeds. Get the thoughts there.
Yeah,
change the intent.
Yeah, and I said to him, could you, on behalf of my grandfather, I said, could you please go ask your supervisors and all of your other staff if that is true, and please ask why it is they're coming and planting how they think that planting a couple of seeds will will correct this. You get what I mean from it, though, right?
It's all about what they're doing is that's ego justifier. The deceivers will be everywhere, so please pay attention. The devil will always come to you with a rose in one hand and a knife in the other. You see, the most destructive forces on our planet are the banks. They're the ones that enslave. They're the ones that enslave all. Those that control the quote money, which is actually in control of the divine feminine essence. If you get through my articles, you'll understand what I just said. Now, what a beautiful seed you planted. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You see, when you have these imbeciles, and they're just meat stick extras, that are standing in a booth working for one of the greatest finance killers of humans and other life, all life, on the planet, trying to improve their image. Oh, look, we're planting trees. Here's one you can plant to make up for the 100 we just cut down. It's guilt appeasement on an ethereal level. This is why what Ninja was saying, and Bindi, and myself, and so many of us, Alexis, are saying about getting into the ether on this, because you're not going to solve it in the physical. When we deny the ability for those to, make amends, pathetic amends, while they're not dismantling the actual source of the destruction first, it's empty, it's hollow, it's meaningless, it's garbage. So very well done on planting that seed. And that's what we do. I used to plant seeds going into banks when I dealt with them by saying about the $20 bills. Did you like getting bills in the mail? Said, no. Well, why do you put them in your purse, your wallet? $20 bills? Oh, I never thought of that. I move along. And even when I have to use fiat currency, to buy very sustenance that to live on, I still have the same thing. Do you guys still take this paper stuff for real things? It's plastic now, by the way. And they go, yeah. Oh, okay, wow, good deal. And I plant the seed of doubt in money. The only thing that's keeping money alive is the fact that we all, have this confidence in it that somehow it matters, and it doesn't. The thing that you think will set you free is the biggest trap you've ever lived in. And here it is, eaglets. The simple fact that you can't let go of it means you're still not ready to fly. You'll think of every reason why you need to have this and need to have that, and you're creating the illusion in their set, in their old paradigm. Do you not see this? Do you not see how you're feeding the beast that is devouring you? Thinking that you're actually surviving. Everything is backwards here. Have I not said this enough? Are we still caught in the quagmires? Do we trust ourselves so little that Mother Bird, Mother Eagle will not be there to pick you up? Am I not living proof of it? Am I not proof that I got shredded right down to nothing? And I still came on the air. And I'm still here. And I'm not going anywhere because I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. The universe has me. And the cards I'm pulling say so. I know that. See, and that's one thing I will urge people. Please, go out and get yourselves a tarot deck of any kind or whatever. And start putting your energy into it. And start asking universe questions and trust in the answers that come to you in your created, preset, created now. Yes, the universe is at my fingertips now. I know that. I asked a question, and the card came up. The very card. And it was asking about, is Mother Eagle, universe, in alignment with what I'm trying to do here? Am I doing the right thing? And I flipped the fucking cards open, and there's the universe staring at me. The giants dance. Yes, we are people. Trust yourself. Know thyself. Stop creating the same bullshit illusions within the same bullshit illusions. That's insanity. Do you think you're going to bring a system down? It's like this. If someone, and I've had lots of examples of this, people actually being out there and I'm freedom this and freedom that and all the rest of it. Yet, and please, if the ego takes offense, that's what it's doing. The ego's taking offense because it's supposed to. So bear this one in mind, because this is exactly what I call in the grandest sense, a hypocrite. Someone that is trying to destroy the system while taking money from it. It's the same as someone standing on a branch with a saw, and they're on the outer part of the branch facing the tree itself with a saw, and they're going, I'm going to cut this branch. I'm going to cut it, because if they do, they cut their own support. They're not going to cut it. Well, I know I did. I took the whole damn tree down for me. Did I like it? No. Did I get through it? Yeah. Did I find who I was? Yeah. Was it worth it? You're damn straight it was. You guys are tuned in right now. I must be saying something, right? Maybe I got something from the experience. Maybe I got some truth out of it. Maybe I can handle it. Maybe you can't. I don't know. But I'm going to keep moving forward, with or without support, because all of my support was ripped out from under me. So I know what it's like to have to stand all by myself and fly like the eaglet, finally becoming eagle. And I've cut all the strings, all the tethers. And the longer we all hold on to these phony systems, these identity, and you can talk, well, what about the cops that they pull me over? Well, guess what you got to do? Suck it up. Get it out of your universe. They don't come near me because I don't exist in their realm. Why? Because I don't manifest them. Besides, even if they did, the only thing I can offer them is their own fraud. Do you think they want that? No, and the higher senses of this director's game don't want any of their goons getting retrained. They want to keep their goons in perfect jarhead working order. Idiots. Useful idiots. You put a group of cops around me, they're done. I'll plant so many seeds they won't know whether to piss, shit, or run for the hills. And I'll give them seeds, because here's the thing: when you planted that seed, Alexis, it takes, like every plant, you plant the seed, it takes a bit for the roots to take hold, but it takes hold. I promise you. That's how we got duped. The seeds they planted took hold in us. I'm just trying to cut all the roots out of you. I got mine out. I'm still pulling some weeds and shit, but I'm perfect. Yeah, Well, I am perfect. The ego and the rest of this physical nonsense needs a bit of fixing. I can deal with that. So well done, guys. This is the game we're playing. Now we're changing the intent. What Alexis and her friend just described to you, and the same thing with you, Adam, and this goes back to what Carol does on her shows and what everybody else is doing, Jeremiah and everybody, okay? We're all doing this. And it's only about changing the intent by planting the seeds, because if we're willing to plant the seed, our intent is changed. We have changed. And only when we change within will the world change without. And as soon as we change within, all of a sudden we find these seeds and go, oh, shit, I'm not going to waste time trying to convince anybody of anything. I'm just going to flick the seeds around and see what happens. And they're taking hold. They're taking hold worldwide. Better yet, they're taking hold universe-wide, because every seed you plant is a ripple of the butterfly's wings through the universe. So by all means, Adam, beat the shit out of the individuals. But I will also put the mirror to what you're doing. I'm going to show you. And please, take this as a comparison, okay? I'm trying to show the duality in what are we actually creating. If we have a site set up to lure predators, what are we doing? We're actually manifesting somewhere that manifests that. So we're actually Adam, hang on. You're going to go in defense mode, and I need you to stop. Please, I need everyone to turn the defenses off, because you're missing the full surrender here. When you do that, everything is good and evil. It is the intent that it is used for. So what you've done, Adam, is created good and evil. What you've done is created good in that you found a place, you've made a place for people to come, predators, to be captured. But at the same time, in the evil sense, you've created the fact that predators exist in its mirror. So it has to be good and evil. Get out of the duality, because if you're in duality, what you are is you're physical, and you are missing the biggest show of the universe, the 99% plus part. We're bringing the 99% to people. We're bringing your godhood back to you. Change your intent, change your universe. It is that simple. Look up Wu Wei. Understand the concepts behind it. Because the more we physically feel the need to do something means the more we are doubting our ability to do it just simply by thinking about it. It is that simple.
Exactly.
It's so simple, and it's so hard to believe. We have been so beaten up with doubt. We have been so made to distrust ourselves and our fellow man. It's time to change that, don't you think? We take the high ground here. We have the high ground. No one takes this. These torches are blazing brighter and brighter every day, and the joy of my life is knowing that every instant that I am aware and awake and conscious, the downloads keep coming in, and guess what happens? I keep flowing them out, and I keep putting them into the Akashic with the purest love intent of unconditional neutrality I can. I change universes, Adam. So do you. So do we all. Which one do you want to be a part of? Let's take the whole damn thing down, shall we? Because I'll guarantee you, if you need a mother eagle to land on, I'm right here.
Bullshit.
Oh, Carol. Dear, dear, dear. Bullshit indeed. Your mic's open. Go ahead, say your piece, Carol. Come on. Show us what you got. Show us your real intent. Silence works for me as well, by the way. If you can't handle the heat, hon, get out of the fire. And don't start them. That's the only thing I ever suggest. All right? Fair? I think it's fair. Well, here, let me put it to you another way. The other night when we were talking about Carol, you thought it was you, like you're the only Carol in the universe. Why did you get out of joint about it? It was no big deal. But you were looking for something to pick at me with. So if that's why you're here, then by all means, pick. I'm right here. Take me on. I'm right here, hon. I love you that much. Go ahead. Floor's yours. Okay, well, I guess that's that then. So let's move along. I guess it ends with bullshit. That's fine with me. Because I agree with you. It is bullshit. The whole physical realm is bullshit. Well, I don't know why people are still wrapped up and caught in it. Just trying to offer you some keys. If you can't handle them, that's fine. If you don't want to drive this car, then, go back to playing. If you really enjoy this paradigm and what it's got to offer, then by all means, stay where you are. That's fine with me. I love you. You're not ready to move. That's okay. I will not be your judge, and I will most certainly not be your master. That's your job. I just chose to be my own. And here's the thing. The fact that I show up 7 nights a week, especially on days when I really just don't have it in me to do it, I do it anyway. Why? Well, because I know I have to. I know I should. It's what I'm supposed to do. And like I said before, if you can't handle this show and you can't handle what's handed out, and I'm talking truth, really tough ones to swallow. If you can't handle it, then don't show up. Save yourself the bother. Go back to doing what it was you were doing before that was so wonderful. And by all means, come in here and tell me what are the answers. I'm looking. I don't have them. I'm still looking. If someone has all the answers, please, I'm sitting here. I'm a wide open vessel waiting to hear them. Guess not. There we go. We got about 9 minutes left, guys. Any final comments you all want to make? Other than bullshit?
Silence is golden.
Well, yeah, it actually is.
I've got something to say.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, there's maple syrup and there's syrup of figs. Take your pick.
It's all good. No harm, no foul, guys. This is all about contrast. Can we see it? Can you see the contrast? I can. And I'm grateful for it.
Yeah.
You see, I won't wallow in the one side or the other that is completely ruled and only ruled by ego. I choose to stand in the middle. Neutral. And I'll bring some hardcore stuff to the table. I always do. This is what I do. I don't know any other way. Being blatantly and brutally honest is the only way I've ever been. I've made lots of amazing friends and I've made lots of amazing enemies. Why? when I tell the same thing to two different people and one wants to kill me and the other one wants to hug me? Why? Well, it's perspective and intent. And those most unwilling to confront everything within themselves are the ones that generally attack me. And that's okay. I'm used to it. Hell, I got stainless steel armored plating on my back. And it covers all the scars nicely. And that's okay. I'll give you your cutlery back. That's okay. Go ahead. You want to keep using it? That's a tool you need, obviously, so don't mind me. Here you go. But I would ask that if people want to do that, then please bring some spoons and forks, because I have lots of knives and very little else. You're not going to offend me. I'm sorry. Good luck. No, I spent a lifetime hating. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I was going to say I spent a lifetime hating me. I finally learned how the mirror works, and I can love me now. It's pretty cool. Go ahead, Ninja.
I think perhaps for the first time, certainly anyway, recently you see you have more and more people who are standing back to back with you. Together.
Amazing.
So those knives and spears and swords and daggers that are now being attempted to go in your back, they're not going in. They're being deflected. They're still trying, but they're not succeeding anymore. So they might as well stop. You're not alone anymore, my love. You're not alone. You've got family, and we're on the same page.
I completely agree with you, Ninja. And for the confirmation, I just pulled the Shield Maiden. So there you go.
Just coincidence. Please look away. Go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And again, this is not a make right or a make wrong. This is simply an observation if you can see it. And the only one that can see it is you. And unfortunately, it's going to require a mirror. I assure you, I have looked in a very, very difficult mirror for a lifetime. And it's not for, well, what a victim. No, it's you have no idea the gratitude I have. You have no idea. Because with this beautiful contrast of intense one side to the other has given me such a beautiful perspective. How could I be anything but grateful? On that note, I'll end things off in a song here, and I am going to send this one out to Carol, because believe it or not, hon, I love you more than you could ever imagine. So here we go.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
And indeed it is, and it shall remain our turn. As Vicky's tattoos say, my turn starts now. Say that to yourself. What was that? All right. So I'm going to meet everybody out, and we'll call this a show. Thank you, everybody, for showing up tonight. The love is real if you can see it. That's not my job. My job is just to love, and I'm okay with it, because I do. It's unconditional. So this one, Carol, is for you, my love. All carols, by the way, not just you, all carols, but specifically for you.
I've never seen before my eyes this dream. I've never known what makes this child to see. Like tears from a mountain pouring gently to the sea, a curiosity. Will you dare to touch my soul? Is love so frail that we can't hope to be more than we are, more than our hearts can see? And if for any reason on this field of broken dreams we stand to lose it all, then for you, yes, I do it willingly. If this is our moment, captured in time, always to sustain, for lost in your eyes I find are the only means to remain. Searching relentlessly, just like a cloud, she chases her rain. We'll stand here firm, 'cause we are an island protected by love on this field of broken dreams. It's never clear, this path of destiny. That's why we're here, to find our need to be. Elusive as a rainbow, we can try to steal her gold, but she'll give it willingly. Will you dare to ask her though?
Video provided by VerdictProductions.com.